All right, we get a rolling Monday night style. Larry Kruger, Dan Coach Emilio, Ryan Smith. It's the Kruger Show on a Monday night. Hope everybody had a great weekend. Great Monday night football. Hope you cashed on Monday Night Football. I did.
I didn't.
Oh, man.
No, I didn't have anything.
Okay, I didn't know. We'll start there. I didn't know how I wanted to play tonight, right? Had a big win last night. And I took last night. What was the spread last night? Do you remember?
I think it was 6.
I think it was 6. So I took the Eagles on a 7.5 point teaser, and then teased the over under up, and then went under. So that's what I went with last night. I went with the Eagles, and then teased the number up 7 points, and then came under. Tonight I decided, you know what? These teams can't score. I mean, Chargers have a good enough D to hold this terrible Denver offense in check. And I'm like, Denver's got a good D, and Chargers have a good O, but Denver's D could probably check Chargers. So I'm like, I'm going under. So I teased it from, I think it was 46 or 47 up to 53.5 under. So on 53.5 under, that cash for fun. But then I took the Chargers, and I had the Chargers at plus 3.5 because I think they were -4 tonight. So it was a 7.5 point teaser. So I turned them from -4 into plus 3.5. And I was like, God, I win here if the Chargers score a touchdown. I win here if the Chargers score a field goal. I win here if Denver scores a field goal. And then there was that pass play right at the end in the overtime where the ball gets tipped in the air. And it's in the air, and the defender's right there. And I'm like, oh, my God, he's going to pick that off. He's going to waltz into the end zone. And the one way I can lose, I'm going to lose. Denver's going to – but sure enough, the ball fell. And the Chargers get the win with the injured kicker kicking a – but by the way, I don't know if you guys are watching it, if you're doing other things. I thought – and I was a few feet away from the TV. I thought that if you blocked – somebody into the guy who's making the punt returner, if you block up his teammate into him, I thought that was a penalty on the Broncos. Instead, they called it a fumble, and the Chargers recovered it, and that was it.
It used to seem like it was that way, but
isn't that the rule?
It used to be that way, but they were describing it as though that the Broncos guy that was blocked
into him first.
No, but that he was in the way, that it wasn't that he was, the one impeding his own
guy.
Yeah, his own guy. So yeah.
So but he kind of got pushed into him.
Yeah, he did. He got pushed into him. But
the Charger guy.
They brought that guy on, whatever, John Perry or whoever it was, and he said it was a good call.
You know what? That might be the new way to operate from now on. Then, right?
Yeah, that's one of those that your Belichick's files away.
Seriously, if you got somebody whose teammate is nearby, just block him into the guy who's making the catch, and away we go. Yeah, that was interesting. But there's something about the NFL right now. There's so many bad offensive things. I've been going with the under a lot. I don't know if if the numbers reflect it or not, but it just seems like in many of these national TV games, it's gone under. Gone under. You're not getting these
brutal Niners and Broncos, Commanders and Bears, and then tonight Broncos again. Boy.
There's a huge trend with the primetime unders.
Yeah,
especially the Thursday night games, man. I'm like looking at Thursday night. And I'm thinking I don't want to play guys in my fantasy on Thursday nights because they're going to underperform because they haven't had any rest. And the guy I would play this week, though, you got him, Ryan, is Hopkins, because he's going to be fresh while everybody else is going to be.
Wait a second. Mark Graves says, damn, mute those dogs, LOL.
Yeah, Buster barked or something.
Graves is hinting at mutation.
Not mutation. Hey, we don't. Oh well, Buster's already had his
mutate.
Buster's already had his balls chopped off, so he's already
he's done mutating.
Yeah.
Well, guys, we talked about it last night on the live stream, and I asked you guys one main question. I said, "Who is the horde? What individual or what entity? Who's going to take the blame by the overreaction Monday crowd?" No doubt, it was Kyle Shanahan.
Oh, big time.
Kyle Shanahan.
It's all over. Yeah, I mean.
Yeah.
Wild. You knew it's like there cannot be a game, an NFL game, maybe baseball, maybe basketball, but in the NFL, there's so many people that care about it that you cannot, in the current climate, it's like you win and it's kind of, I don't know, maybe the wins, they don't celebrate them as much, but the losses are definitely like, it's the blame game. It's absolutely the blame game.
Yeah.
It's kind of an interesting thing, though, just in terms of, it's kind of a refresher, some water in the face of what has been a crazy NFL year. Tom Pierce says Arizona is broken. Just a little check back. If you went in the time machine 1 year ago, Arizona was 6-0, and they were the third favorite to win the Super Bowl. That's how crazy things are in the NFL. It can switch that quickly. So there's still so much season to be played.
Yeah, Eagles could falter. I think the team that's going to falter is the Giants. There's no way. I mean, they're going to lose at least 6-7 more games.
Who is Philly?
The Giants.
Well, no, Dan, it's kind of disturbing. If you look at their schedule, let me find the Giants schedule, because it's something disturbing to where, like, I would actually probably bet that they would be like 8-2
going forward.
Yeah, or like end up 8-2 after their next
8-2 after 10.
Yeah,
well, right now, I'll say this. Daniel Jones is, he had just huge issues week after week after week after week. Seemed like for multiple years with turnovers, and they were +1 in turnovers yesterday. So, how many times in his career has he been on the plus side? It seems like he's turning the ball over in mass all the time. But credit Brian Daboll. He's coaching up Jones. Jones was 19 of 27, 2 touchdowns, 173 yards. He's getting a nice year out of Saquon.
How about Wink Martindale? I bet if Wink Martindale was on the other side, I bet Daniel Jones would not have been positive in turnover differential yesterday.
Oh, yeah.
They got Bellinger, the tight ends, playing well. They just got the Kentucky kid, Wan'Dale Robinson, up and rolling. He's going to be pretty good. So I don't know. It'll be interesting to see. The Giants clearly are the big turnaround team. And can it last? The fact that they found a way to beat the Ravens. I know Baltimore's a lot better in their place, but still the Giants. Giants amaze me. Week
how
after
about
week.
beating the Packers last week? Even now they're like
in London.
If you go through their games, even it's like I'm pretty sure, didn't they beat Atlanta? Oh no, that was a different team. Oh wait, this is what I was gonna do. So they're 5-1. So this is their upcoming schedule: at Jaguars, totally winnable; at Seahawks, totally winnable; home Texans, totally winnable; home Lions, totally winnable; road road Cowboys, loss, and then home Commanders.
Out of those 6, they'll go 3-3.
Yeah, that's probably about right. But still, that's pretty damn good. They'd be 8-4.
They're going to be a wild card team, probably.
Yeah.
Going to be a wild card team in the NFC.
Yeah, you're going to get. You're probably going to get probably 2 wild cards out of the East.
Oh, definitely 2. Unless the Giants, unless the bottom falls out. Yeah.
What is there? 3 wild card teams that make it, right?
Yeah, 3.
So
you figure maybe 1 from the NFC West. I'll tell you who looks like I would not be surprised at all if they wind up in the playoffs, and that's the Falcons.
Well, they'd have to win the division probably.
Well, they're 3-3. Who knows? Yeah, there's a lot of football left to be played. I think Falcons look good. They're obviously well coached. Mariota just played the game of his life. They've got a good young secondary. they've got some of those linebackers they have are young and fast. And
not sure what just happened there.
They played well. They played an incredible game yesterday. They really did. At least Mariota did.
Yeah, I like the 49ers. I know they're hurting, but a lot of those guys are going to come back, trickle back in week after week. You know, they're saying Trent Williams may be available this week against KC, and guys will start coming back. Then you get the bye, and then you got Mitchell, and then you got Colton McKivitz, and guys just start coming back. They've got 11 remaining. 9 are on regular grass. Only 2 artificial turf are at the Rams and at Seattle. And get this, they only leave the time zone, the Pacific time zone, once to go to Mexico City. The rest are all on Pacific Coast. This next 11 games, even though they've got a couple of tough games like Tampa and KC, they're What happened there? What's going on?
Yo, can you hear me?
Now I do.
Oh, were you able to hear me when I was asking about Atlanta?
I heard Larry talking, then I got muted. I was talking, and I was muted. I don't know what's going on.
I don't know. That's weird. Oh, the show got muted, it says. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I hear you.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, I was going to say Atlanta. What the? Okay, well, Larry's gone. I was going to say Atlanta. I think Atlanta's a good team. I think they've been the best team in that division. It's shocking as it is.
Krug show is broken.
I think the Krug show might be broken.
Says the show got muted. What the heck's going on?
I don't know. I think we're being punished for completely derailing the beginning of the show with Larry's bets and talking not one word of NBA so far. All right.
Well,
what
the heck are we here? What the heck is going on?
Whatever. I mean, I think we're good.
Yeah. Okay, we can get back to normal here. I was just saying that I don't know if anybody heard me. Did anybody hear me talking about the Niners?
Yeah, you were saying the Niners have they've got 11 games in the time zone or whatever.
Yeah, only one out of the Pacific time zone. That's really favorable to a team. And if they can somehow win the division, they get another home game, you know?
Yeah.
Because
by the way, I blame Graves. I think he muted the whole show.
Yeah. What's up, mute? What's up, Graves?
Glass half full guy. I'd love to have McCaffrey on the 49ers, but don't feel they have what it takes to acquire him, in my humble opinion. Honestly, I think they probably do. It's just a matter of the Panthers have to really keep losing. Because I think that giving him up is that's their only offense. That's really waving the white towel. I think this was kind of their last, they got rid of Robbie Anderson. That guy's been a problem in the building.
And they're home to the Buccaneers. Bucks coming off of a loss. I think the Bucks are going to be pretty irritable going into the Panthers.
You don't think Brady's going to go to another wedding on Friday night?
Is that what happened? He went to a wedding this past Friday night? Yeah,
he went to Robert Kraft's wedding, which is just hilarious because Belichick wasn't even there, and then Belichick just wins the game.
That is hilarious.
Great game plan.
Yeah, I did see a picture of that. He married some young blonde, huh?
Yeah.
Kraft.
Yeah, he's a crafty man. He loves his young smoke shows no, that wasn't him that wanted Jimmy G still. That was Belichick. I was trying to, he's faithful to Tom.
Hey, Graves. Hey, Mark. So, I don't know what happened to Larry. We were going to do our draft.
Why don't I explain the draft to everyone? Because I know that Larry's going to get probably confused as will probably a lot of you. So if I give it an explanation here, then I'll double explain when Larry comes back, and that should be good. So essentially, we're doing a draft of every team in the NBA. All right. So we each get 10 teams. We each get 30 divided by 3. We each get 10 teams. Obviously, you're going to have your winners at the top, but also it's always fun to try and pick the losers in the NBA, especially in a year where, they've got the French kid Wembayama, who's people are saying is the best prospect since LeBron, and then Scooter also is just pretty damn good, maybe like the next Baron Davis type guy going 2. So a lot of people are going to be tanking. So it's also fun to predict the tanking. So this is how it's going to work. So we're going to take this, we're going to draft teams. So, like, for example, number 1 overall, I may draft the Spurs because maybe I think the Spurs are going to end up with 63 losses. So then maybe number 2, Dan picks the Milwaukee Bucks because he thinks that the Bucks are going to have 60 wins. Well, you have to declare wins or losses for the team, and then it's just you take that number. And then we'll add them all together. I heard some people on the Bill Simmons podcast doing this, and it sounded complicated. And then I was like, wait, that's actually cool because now we're not just focusing on the good teams. Now we're also focusing on the bad teams.
Yeah, Avatar. Larry says he's starting. First of all, Avatar Singh says, "Is this the Larry Krueger show? I'm on the wrong, I am on the wrong show." Well, can't read.
You're in the right spot. This is just this. We're warming up the audience right now.
Yeah, Larry just texted me, and
so this show
restarting his computer. He got knocked out.
Okay, this is a good. Okay, chat. Can you all start coming up with some good punishments and some sort of bet or something for us to do? Because we're gonna just keep track of these, the total points. And then maybe winner get something, maybe loser has to do something.
Sing karaoke or something.
Yeah,
maybe.
yeah.
I did it my way.
Maybe loser has to buy one of the maybe a woman's small yellow sleeved Warriors jersey and then put it on.
Oh my goodness, this would be ripping.
Like the infamous Larry.
Yeah, that one. That's classic. We should pull that up.
But really, this shows. I will pull that up.
When he comes on, put that up and say, "This is what the loser has to wear a extra small
women's." But yeah, it's really just a way for us to touch on every team in the league and kind of give some thoughts. Oh my God! Wait, that's hilarious. I don't know if Larry realizes, maybe Len has him on here, but there's a thing called VidSig that I guess is kind of like, it's kind of like Cameo. And that's why that photo keeps popping up, because that's his photo on there. And it's like, you can request a personal chat or video.
Which photo? The one in the Warriors?
Yeah. Jersey? That's why that's why it comes up so early when you search his name.
Oh man, I got to do.
So he's been either sabotaging himself or Len's been low-key sabotaging him.
Let me see.
There we go. Because look.
Oh, there it is. I think he's coming back on too.
Wow. Glass half full guy. Unrelated, but after watching some MLB playoffs, Giants better be big spenders in free agency. Come on, Farhan. Totally agree. Agree. I'm bummed out that we didn't get to watch the Yankees game tonight, because that was going to be fun. If the Yankees lost, then we could speculate about Judge.
Oh yeah, you know what I was hoping, right? Oh. I was hoping that the Yankees would lose and that Judge would come up with a chance to win it, and that he would strike out to end the Yankees season.
No. First, maybe he hits a foul ball home run, something that looks like it's gone, and then
hello.
And then strikes.
Can you hear me?
Now we can hear you.
I don't know what happened there.
So
that's all good.
That took
then
a while.
He strikes out. He strikes out to end the Yankees season, and the place just boos him. They're so ticked that the Yankees lose, and the Judge strikes out, they booze, and that's his memory of New York. He says,
maybe also a Canseco home run off the noggin in extras would be nice.
Just, it's all on Judge. The only thing, that would be place goes nuts on him. So
Tom Pierce says, I'm making it rain at the club with all my weekend winnings. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
So we just described.
Did you guys put this one out there? Did you read this?
Yeah.
You did read it. Okay. Thank you, glass half full guy, for the $4.99. All right. Where were we? When this thing cut out?
Well, I was talking about the Niners, but we're going into the NBA now. I was saying the Niners have 11 games left, 9 on grass, only 2 on artificial turf, Seattle and LA. Only leave the time zone, Pacific time zone, once out of their next 11 games to Mexico. So the schedule is very favorable in the fact that they're going to be hardly leaving the time zone. They're on their schedule. They're home for 7 games. I think they can go 10-7 realistically and win the division and get another home game. And that's what you want. You don't want to get a wild card and then have to go 3 on the road. So I think the Niners just beat beat the Rams and beat Seattle and win your division games. If they can just clean slate the division, they can win 9 games and win this division.
Sweeping the division is something that it's easier said than done,
especially
since the Seattle game is going to be in mid-December there, and they're playing pretty well. How good
and Kingsbury will be fired, might have some momentum.
How about the Cardinals today traded for the wide receiver from Carolina?
Robbie
Anderson. That's a great idea. Let's, our number one problem with our quarterback is that he's not a great locker room guy. Let's bring in the guy who has been just bitching about his quarterback and just been a nightmare inside the Carolina Panthers locker room. That sounds pretty smart.
And what did come out today? What happened with Cam Akers? What's the deal there?
I don't really know. I've kind of only read surface level tweet stuff. It seems like
find him a new home. Him and McVay are not getting along. But
also McVay's not ruling out him staying. So I don't know.
That's interesting. Yankees and Tribe rained out tonight.
Yeah,
so we see that tomorrow.
Lou says I'm a homer. Dan is too much of a homer.
Lou says Dan's a homer. Wow, what were you saying? Yeah,
I'm talking about the Niners.
Yeah, I mean that is. I mean, first of all, I hate it's almost impossible to play the win-loss game. Just look at the games that have been played so far. But okay, so the Niners have 3 wins now. Let's say they win in Los Angeles, they beat Arizona twice, and they beat Seattle. That's 4 wins. That's 7. So to get to 10, they'd have to have 3 non-division wins, and their non-division games are Chargers, Chiefs, Saints, Dolphins, Buccaneers, Raiders. Commanders, Raiders. And the only thing about it that's a little tricky is that the Raiders have played so bad up front, and they do have a lot of talent. That will be a game at home on January 1st. You got to think that game could have importance to them. Miami. I'll say this, Miami, it's quickly. It's funny how in the NFL, the narratives change so quickly. Before it was like, oh, Tua sucks. And now suddenly Tua looks pretty good, doesn't he? Because they haven't really played that well without Tua offensively, and they were great with him as far as scoring points. So now, he'll be back, I would imagine, by December the 4th if he doesn't get hurt again. So that game's interesting.
It's crazy. It really comes down to just the Rams game and like a couple. If they win that Rams game, they're pretty much. I feel like they're pretty home free.
Home free with what?
If they beat the Rams, then they've
as far as winning the division.
Yeah. Because I don't think the Rams are going to run away and win 11 games, so they're going to be close. And then if the Niners only have to worry about being tied with them, that'd be pretty nice.
Niners just need to try and get to, win the division and. Hope they,
Seahawks have the same record as the Rams.
You're going to get a home game, but it would be great to win the division and get the 2nd seed, which would be tough. But
are you guys not giving Seattle any hope? Is that what you're saying?
Nah.
No, I don't believe in Seattle.
Gino's playing terrific. You can make an argument Gino's playing better than Russ.
That's why. That's not even close. Sure. Gino's been like a top 3 quarterback this year, but that's why I'm like, he's been a top 3 quarterback, and like they're still barely winning these games. Their defense is so atrocious. Like
Gino's got 9 touchdowns and 2 picks.
Yeah, he's been excellent, but also it's like,
he's completing 73%.
At 32 years old, he kept them receipts. Niners were the only team to slow him down.
He's been one of the stories.
Maybe he's fresh. Maybe he's fresh. He doesn't have a lot of hits on him.
Fresh in, fresh out.
Exactly. Fresh in, fresh out.
Yeah, don't we have a guy in our fantasy named Fresh In, Fresh Out?
Yeah.
By the way, Dan beat me in fantasy by a single point.
Oh God, I know.
Oh my God.
Single point. In fact,
single point.
I think we have a play-by-play of the victory. Let me see if I can pull it up here. Here we go.
It's always gonna be something
Just
on
over
Dan's
2 minutes
phone.
ago. Cowboys down by 10.
Wait, is this the Manning cast or is this?
Doesn't look good.
Danny's doing play-by-play.
Rouse back to pass. He's got CeeDee Lamb over the middle. He takes it and he goes in. He's going over the middle. He's got 24 yards. Gain. Oh my goodness. Oh wow. That wait a minute. Let's look that up. That's enough for a 1-point victory over Larry Krueger.
Tom Pierce says Kenneth Walker though is super impressive.
Yeah, and
he does look good.
You did get Kenneth Walker. You did get Kenneth Walker in the CeeDee
I traded for him while he was on the bench.
I gave you Keenan Hamstring Allen.
I know. When's Keenan Allen coming back? Eventually, that deal could look good for me if Keenan shows up and plays. Keenan's just always hurt. There are some guys that are just always hurt. He's one of them.
Yeah, you could have Allen and Walker down the stretch tearing up the league. Wow, you never know.
I better start tearing up something because, man, I'm right now. I'm sub 500 and not looking very good in the Krug Show Fantasy League.
Oh, I'm 1-5. It's awesome.
These three guys right up here you're watching. We're 10.
Graves says Danny's been waiting 24 hours to do that to you, Larry. I know. Believe me, I'm well aware. I'm well aware. When I saw it was like I lost by less than a full point, I'm like, oh my gosh, that hurts.
I know. Yeah. What did Melvin Gordon end up with tonight? I mean,
nothing.
Nothing.
Seriously,
yeah,
like,
nothing.
what the hell? All the Javonte Williams fantasy owners out there are like, so you're telling me we had to watch this BS where Melvin Gordon got 60% of the carries and all the red zone carries? Now we all invested in our handcuff of Melvin Gordon and Javonte goes out, and now Melvin Gordon doesn't even get as many touches as freaking Latavius off the street.
Latavius is totally outplaying him. Melvin Gordon went for 2.7 a carry tonight.
How many carries did he have?
Went for three carries. 3 carries.
I'll tell you what it is.
I'll tell you, there was a fantasy, I don't want to say star born tonight, but there was a fantasy player that I think people ought to grab that wasn't there tonight.
Brandon McManus?
No. Danny, you want to guess?
That wasn't there tonight?
No, that kind of came of age, I thought, in this game. The UCLA tight end, Greg Dulcich, 2 catches, 44 yards, and a touchdown.
Yeah, I mean, he clearly prefers him to Alberto at this point.
Yeah, I shoot.
Just tight ends.
Both these offenses look bad right now, especially Denver.
How'd you like my move when you went to go pick up the tight ends for your game because your tight end was out? Did you look and say who's available, and you went down the list?
You know what? I got so many other things going on right now. I did it very quickly, and I saw Will Dissly was there, and I'm like, you know what? I'll take him.
Would you have taken Tanyan if he was there, or
I probably would have taken Tanyan because I had Tanyan last year, but there's something weird about Green Bay this year, and I don't know. I can't put my finger on it. It
seems like don't have any wide receivers.
Tanyan got 14 points yesterday.
Did he?
And
he's
Hunter
going to be
Henry
a good player.
Patriots, or not?
I know you picked them all up. You told me you put them on your bench. I know
because I wanted to dish you with Dissly.
Yeah.
So I left you with Dissly, and he got 1.7. Now that if I go 2-14,
I'm going to tell the HOA that you're planning on putting in windows, and you're not going to check the specs before you put them in. That should send about 19 people into an uproar.
Check this out. I had a lady.
I know the colors here at La Boca Vista are sand and peach, but I'm hearing, rumor has it, that Danny's pricing windows that are vinyl and white. Just going to leave you with that little nugget. Have a great time, everybody, at the HOA. And then all of a sudden, you're just going to get so many calls. Excuse me, Mr. Coach Emilio, are you guys thinking about going with white vinyl windows? It's against our specs and regulations here at La Boca Vista.
Yeah. The lady last 2 days ago on Saturday, I'm out with the dogs. And
is that
the roof directly above the hole is on page 2 and is the top picture. This is why the hole was generated, because the roof is Yeah.
So just so everyone has a little bit of history here, I know I talked to a couple of you before the meeting, but this is the third homeowner since
Much as wearing glasses. Did you see that?
Yeah. So
that's a very studious group.
Lady behind me says, "I don't want your dog pooping on my yard."
You're like,
and I
"It's
said,
not my dog, lady."
I said, I'm out there. I said,
your
"Look,
dog accepting the poop that comes out of my dog's butt."
We said specifically in the agreement that the dog poop must be teal.
So I got my bags, I'm picking it up, and the lady, I said, "Ma'am, I can't control exactly where he goes. I clean it up."
Is it grass or does she have astroturf?
No, it's rock. It's rock, and it's not her yard. It's common area. So we own the condo.
Yeah, it's not like she's going to be laying out on those rocks or something, right?
And it's not her rocks. It's common. We own the plot where the condo sits, and we own that. But then the rest of it, you can just walk through. So I'm like, she's like, "I don't care. I don't want to. I've got grandkids, and they come out there," and I'm like, "Oh my goodness!" So I'm just like,
"Your grandkids playing a rock quarry in the desert? There's snakes in there."
So anyway, I'm just like, "Okay, I'm just not gonna." She goes, "I'm gonna report you," and I go,
"Of course you are."
"Yeah, go ahead, do what you
That
got."
could hurt your standing when it comes time, for elections. I mean,
oh wow,
you're not going to get a third of the eastern sector there to vote for you, and
you know what?
It's hard to carry La Boca Vista if you don't have the eastern sector behind you.
I got news. I'm not going up for re-election. I'm a one-term board member, and I may resign before the term expires.
Wow.
Yeah,
you like your Giants tickets. He's like, he wants
exactly.
out. Danny wants all the way out.
It'd be like a total Curb Your Enthusiasm if you got to replace the rocks with an AstroTurf for the dog poops, and then you just tore your ACL on it. All the Niners players.
So here's the thing: she's got a little bit of a block
attitude.
Wall. No,
she's got a rock wall.
No, block wall
that
goes around, but it goes past her house, which is technically not allowed. You have to keep it within your boundaries.
She's not in regulation.
No. So if I get reported, I'm gonna say, "Hey, your block wall there. Yeah, you might have to take that
Look
down."
at that. I like the vindictive nature of La Boca Vista residents.
It'd be a real shame if I had to bring it up at the next HOA meeting.
Yeah.
Excuse me, ladies. I've got a document I'd like you to take a look at. What's her first name? The lady with the inferior block wall or rock wall.
I don't even know her name.
What's her first name? Did you remember her first name? Lois or something?
Lois, probably Lois. Yeah, Lois. Who knows?
Yeah. It's not important.
Not important. I
Glass half full guy donates $9.99. I like Shanahan, I really do. But how much rope do we give this guy before it's time to move on? I'm not saying fire him now, but I get so frustrated with his play calling sometimes. It's funny. It's like there are people that would just be like, "Oh my God, that's sacrilegious." But at the same time, I don't think he should be fired. I think he's one of the best coaches in the game. But what we saw yesterday in the fourth quarter was, what the heck's that? I mean, why are you running the ball with 5 minutes left, down 2 scores? Are you trying to win, or what? And his explanation in the post game of, we knew we would get 2 possessions. Well, no, you didn't know you would get 2 possessions because if you didn't make a stop on defense in the Atlanta's last possession, one more first down and they run out the clock. You got the ball back with a minute and 5 seconds or a minute and 3 seconds left. So there was no guarantee. Yeah, you probably were going to have 2 possessions with 10 minutes left. But it turns out that you had one possession that, went 8 minutes and you got nothing out of. And then by the time you get the ball back for another possession, there was only a minute left. So, just the huddle, 16 or was it 13 huddles in the final 16 plays?
Something like that's my biggest. complaint because I
can you
watched
play-
Dallas
where's your
last
hurry-up
night down
offense? I mean, that
20
has to be
0,
broached.
and they were down 3 scores and they just started hurrying up and they got the game to 20-17. It was 20-3 at half, and then all of a sudden they come out and they score, and then they're still hurrying up because they know it's a game of possessions, and the faster you can score, the more possessions you're going to get. So that was my biggest gripe. I didn't have a problem with the 1 run or so because there is a time for, if you just pass every time, you're going to get clobbered, the guy, but just
but it's not about that. It's about time. It's about time. There was at one point, if you go look at the play-by-play, there was one point where I think 28 seconds went between plays.
Oh yeah, they were taking way too long.
28 seconds. No. That can't happen.
You got to go into hurry up. Plus, the other thing that you do when you hurry up is you're keeping the
defense from substituting.
Yeah, exactly.
It was a very bizarre thing. So that I don't know what's going on with Shanahan too. It's like the other thing after watching it again this morning, all I would say is that, and I mentioned this to Damon today on 95.7 The Game. It's like the one part, I want to be fair to Shanahan because one, we're, and I was, we're facing these guys up, Wednesday and Thursday. So it's like, you know what? I'm very cognizant of what I'm saying about the players because I'm going to literally be nose to nose with the players in 2 days. And I want to make sure that I'm not saying anything out of school. But the one area that is just the one thing that's just undeniable in my mind is that the 49ers parts on offense between Kyle, Trent, Ayuk, Debo, Kittle, all the back depth they had, running back depth, Juszczyk, it's just they are not right now equal to the sum of their parts. The sum of their parts is greater than what they're producing offensively. So I don't know if that's coaching, turnovers.
Do you think so? I mean, they're pretty banged up.
Where are they banged up? Just because they got Trent and McGlinchey?
Just the whole O-line, I guess. I don't know.
Well, that's the team they planned for, right? Isn't it Burford, Banks, and Brendel up front with Trent Williams and McGlinchey? So you got no Trent. But everybody else is healthy.
Well, McGlinchey,
unless you want to say Trey, unless you want to throw Trey in there.
But like McGlinchey went out, like they've only got Wilson that they trust as a back, I guess.
I'm just saying the Falcons didn't have Cordero Patterson. They didn't have guys too. I mean, I'm just saying the 49ers defensively had 6 or 7 guys out. I mean, that's seriously depleted, right?
Yeah.
But the 49ers offensively, outside of Trent, started that game with basically their number one guys across the board, against a Falcon team that was 27th in the NFL in defensive DVOA coming in. I just expected the 49ers offense to be able to score more than 14 points. And the fact that, I don't know, what would you guys say is the issue here? Is if it's not Kyle, and I don't think it's Kyle, but I think it's I think they lack speed. Jeff Wilson and Tevin Coleman, those guys are not speedy backs. And, Debo is more of a hammer. Ayuk, believe it or not, is big and physical. He's not quite the burner that he was when I saw him at ASU. And so who's their speed? It's Ray and Danny Gray, and Danny Gray was inactive. So it was really Ray. And then I agreed with the whole idea of going down the field to him, but you got to take more than one shot. I mean, he beat his man and you hit him in the hands. He dropped it, but he beat his man down the field deep and you connected on it, except he dropped it. So why not give it another go? I mean, it's like it's amazing. They just don't have a lot of, like, even the announcers were saying the Niners really got to start moving faster and they got to get bigger chunk amount of yardage, but they don't really have the weapons. Especially, I mean, look at their downfield pass to Charlie Warner, their backup, they're blocking tight end. So
I will say though,
I don't know what's the issue then. If why is their offense so poor with all these great players and Kyle?
I think the bigger question is just like, why is there no big plays down the field happening on a consistent basis across the league? Like, we're just not seeing it across the league. And I don't know if it's the whole too high thing where they're just making everybody keep everything in front. I mean, that last drive, I will say, it didn't seem like it was like every time they started to get it going, it seemed like they'd like, Ayuk would go down and you'd think he was injured and that would kind of stop time. And then Brendel would get a penalty and then deep to Ayuk for 40 yards and penalty on Brendel. And then, they just get enough for the third down. And then it's like, okay, now like all of a sudden another penalty on Brendel. Then, okay, Atlanta player is down injured. It just was like a clunky, weird drive. I don't really know what to blame.
With the trade deadline coming up, all the talks on, McCaffrey and those things. I'd like to see him go out and get somebody like, I don't know if they trade within the division, but Rodney Hudson, the Cardinals center, he's really good pass protection, and or Detroit. If you got Detroit, what is it? Ragnow, I think it is.
Frank Ragnow.
He's up there. They're going nowhere. Teams that are that aren't going anywhere, that need draft picks. Especially
there's not a whole lot of that done, but it's there's rumors out there of McCaffrey being available. I don't know. I don't know that I would trade for a guard or a center. I think I would just sign whoever's off the street if you don't like your guy.
What about JC Treader? Is he available?
Well, I think they got some guys in house that are better than that. To be honest, I think Zakelj could be better. I think Poe could be better. But I definitely
this year, I mean, Poe's out right all year.
No, he's in the practice squad. They can call him up anytime they want. I think.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, and unless he's on, I don't think he's on injured reserve. I think he's on practice squad. So they could call these guys up, or other teams actually can take them off your practice squad and put them on the team. But Zakel's on the active roster, I believe. I see him a lot in there. I think Zakel's going to take Brendel's gig at some point. I don't know if it's going to be this year or next year, but Zakel's big and strong and smart and tough. I think he's a good prospect. Yeah, but I mean, and I hate to blame Brendel, but I mean, 3 big penalties. I mean, the one that negated the Ayuk
40-yarder.
That Ayuk catch was gonna change the game. I mean, in reality, the Werner, the Ray, and the Ayuk, the 2 drops and the 1 penalty that negated. Those 3 catches happen, and Garoppolo has like 428 yards passing, and they have significantly better looking offensive numbers. It's amazing how if you don't connect on your deep ball.
But the fans say we need a new coach. Yeah, you got to execute, guys. They're paid big money to execute, those guys. So,
So they're just in a weird spot right now because their defense is super hurt. They got KC coming to town, and their offense has a bunch of good names. Like to me, they sound better on paper than they actually are playing right now. So I just would like to see them either run the ball, commit to that. The other thing that was kind of weird in this game is that I understand that, Atlanta took a 14-0 lead, but you immediately next 2 drives tied the game. So you had a 14-14 game, and to get to the end of that game and still have a 14-40 split, and they basically had the same in reverse. They had 40 runs and 14 passes. The Niners had like 14 runs and 40 passes. When you have 6 guys out on your defense and then you lose one more, man, I don't know. I think that they should have, even though Kyle wants to get into a shootout in a game like that with as many defensive guys down, I think I would have been a lot more conservative and just try to possess the ball longer and give your defense a chance to, not have to be stretched, because I think that kind of burned them at the end too. They didn't have a lot of gas. They were pretty gassed at the end of that game, it looked like.
No, I absolutely agree.
Glass half full guy says, "Hey Larry, do you guys see the 49ers active at the trade deadline?" It's hard to say because you don't even know who's available. But from what I heard on the McCaffrey front is that somebody said that they would want multiple ones. Well, if that's the case, there's just no chance they're not going to be in that mix. But if it came down to a number 2, I could see that. I could absolutely see that. But it's also hard to, if you said right now, like if I'm the 49ers, my biggest fear in making a deal right now with anybody would just be like, well, what's my roster going to look like in 2 weeks? Mosley's out for the year. So like William Jackson's on the trade market from the Commanders. Do you go corner? Is that the need, or is it D tackle? Because Kinlaw, I heard Dennis Brown say that Kinlaw might not come back this year. Well, if that's the case, if Kinlaw's not coming back, then they may need more guys than just Ridgeway and Givens inside to help out, because Armstead's injury sounds like it's going to be kind of a chronic all season long, foot plantar fasciitis type thing. So, I mean, can they get this done with no Armstead and no Kinlaw? I don't know. So it's kind of,
as long as they get
everybody else. That's their interior tackle tandem. I don't know. My point is, I don't know if I'd want to trade for a running back when I just lost my 2 defensive tackles, and it's like, maybe I need that, or maybe I need a corner. You may want to hedge.
Yeah, I'd rather trade for depth on the line on both lines than any weapons, because the Niners have weapons.
But they don't score any points. They don't score any. Their offense is looking really bad, and they don't score points. The one thing is,
the league right now.
What about OBJ? Would you take OBJ? Will they go after OBJ? He's a free agent.
I could be down for some OBJ.
Yeah, be a good possession type receiver. Yeah.
It's just a weird one. I mean, I don't even know, like, even that Bills Chiefs game, though, was like, what the hell? I thought this was going to be 40-40.
Yeah, I know. That's what I was saying, that yesterday the NFL scoring is down. Defenses are clamping down a lot on a lot of these. They're getting faster, and defenses. This whole game is speed, and
there's less practice time, and then there's fewer preseason games, and you just have what it looks like to me is just overall across the board less offensive cohesion, and then so you don't really have receivers and quarterbacks who have played lots of time together, and they just don't look like they're on the same page. Where and that's what offensive football is about. It's about like coordination, So there does seem to be some regression in offensive, cohesiveness around the league. And maybe that's because there's fewer preseason games. Maybe that's because there's, they limit the amount of practice hours. But it's noticeable. It is noticeable. There's very few teams that try anything intricate. And it seems like there's a number of quarterbacks. You don't really see that many quarterbacks that are like, let's just say even Rodgers and Devontae Adams were the last couple of years.
Yeah.
You don't really see that anymore. You don't see the quarterback and receiver that is just locked in. Maybe Kirk Cousins and Jefferson to some degree, but it's pretty rare across the league to see guys who can just, I'm going to throw it to a spot. You're going to be in that spot. It's like that level of connectivity.
Like, even Mahomes, like, who would you even say, like, outside of Kelsey, who even is their top leading receiver? I couldn't even tell you. Like, maybe Juju, maybe Valdez-Scantling. Not sure.
Yeah, Valdez-Scantling is not dependable. He is not dependable. I would say it might be on the verge of being Sky Moore. I think he's probably working towards that. I mean, Marquez Valdez-Scantling had 3 targets and no catches in this last game. I would say it's Juju for sure. Maybe Hardman. But I think if you're thinking long term, I think it's probably Sky Moore. And that long term, who knows? They may get him ramped up because he was incredible in college. So maybe, and now he's made the adjustment.
This comment here, I want to point out something, because the chat is full of Rip and Kyle, as it's been in all of the Bay Area media the last 24 hours or so.
There's a lot of people that have taken this loss and have now are like, Kyle needs to go.
Let me just say this. Will Jed ever put Kyle or Lynch on the hot seat? My gut says no. I don't think he will. Ever? Who knows? You can never say ever. But here's the point, guys. Everybody who's ripping on Kyle or ripping Jimmy or ripping the Niners, look, they have been to 2 of the last 3 NFC championships, 1 Super Bowl. You had 19. You were just a play away, really. few minutes away from winning the Super Bowl. They should have won it. Then in 2020, injuries to Kittle and Garoppolo derailed the season. Last year, they had a ton of injuries again, led the league, I believe, and yet they made it all the way to the NFC Championship. This year, they're leading the league again in injuries, and they're still competitive. I don't understand how you could say
Well, there's people, Danny, that clearly hold those injuries up, hold Kyle Shanahan's feet to the fire on the fact that his team is consistently injured. Now, is that fair? I don't know, but I think that's true. Don't you guys think?
Well, I think it's
I think it's true that people do that, but I think that's kind of reckless.
Yeah, I mean,
well, here's the one thing though. It does beg the question. I'll let you finish your point, but it does beg the question because we're not talking about a 1-year deal. We're talking about something that's happened. How many years? How many years are we talking about? 3 years, 4 years in a row?
The injuries have been since 2013 season. Somebody did a thing last night. I saw it, and it was since 2013, the Niners have been leading the league. And
some of that was Trent Baalke and Harbaugh. That was Harbaugh's last year, wasn't it?
Yeah, 13. I mean, then you had the Tom Sewell and the Chip Kelly and all that stuff. But I mean, the thing is, I don't know what the cause is. I mean,
the only thing I can point to is that he likes smaller backs, and smaller backs, are the kind of guys that can typically get to the edge, but they also maybe get dinged. That's the only thing I can point to, really.
There's a theory, I think,
and the backs aren't even the problem. Like, he seems like he can turn anyone into a back. So
yeah, and Rye, I'll let you. You've got some insight in that. I don't know if you want to save that or for a later date with.
I was going to have somebody on to talk about that tomorrow.
What's that?
At some point, just the Niners injuries. This guy, he's kind of a family friend. He's was the former head athletic trainer for the Cal Bears. He was offered the job to be the head Niners trainer a couple times, and he had some thoughts on it.
Well, I mean, they have changed out their entire training staff already. Yeah. So it's like, do you do it again? You know what I mean? Yeah. I agree with Lynch, who said that the only thing that he could think of is that players who typically play games in college will typically, and stay healthy, typically would do the same in the pros. And that players that miss a lot of games in college may wind up doing the same. And that's like some barometer that they now use and I think that is wise, right? I just think that
Warner.
Well, I just think that there's if a guy missed 35-40% of the games in college, and you talk to people, does that mean that if every time he gets a little dinged up, he doesn't want to go or can't go? The whole thing about the NFL is you got to play hurt. Look at Samson Ebukam. I think he gutted out this last game. He came off the field 3 different times with different injuries. So, I mean, everybody's hurting at some point, but that's the only barometer. Because, I mean, there are some people that are like, I don't care how I feel. There's a game today, and I'm going, and I guess, maybe that's a personality or pain threreshold is different for every person, right? So some people can take pain.
I think it's less that and more just, I think some people's body types just react different. You're LeBron James of the world. I don't think LeBron has some crazy pain tolerance. I think he's just he just kind of, the way his body is built genetically, he just doesn't really get injured, or when he does get injured, it's doesn't hamper him in the same way.
See, and then the next is that why Lynch drafted Kinlaw? Well, Kinlaw appeared in 37 games over 3 years in college. He started 34. So,
but he also had chronic knee problems going back to college, and now he's they're saying he may miss the whole year because of this knee. They just decided that he was a perfect fit for replacing DeForest Buckner. And I agree if he had been healthy, but he plays upright. He exposes his legs to a lot of contact. And I don't think that it's necessarily one injury. I think his knees just get banged around because he exposes them so much, and so he can only go for a month before it's like, hey man, I need to get off my wheels here. So
I just think that if you're going to complain about the injuries, and then you complain about Kyle, it's and you say he's a lousy coach. how does that measure up when he gets you to the Super Bowl and the NFC Championship with all the injuries, and he's a lousy coach? I mean,
well, I know, but I agree with you, but I could push back easily and say, okay, but those other years that he didn't go that far, they were sub 500.
Okay, let's.
Well, he took over a crappy team in 17.
Yeah. Let's go through this. Let's go through every team in the NFL and let's say, would you rather have that guy as your head coach?
No, we don't need to do that. We all know that Kyle Shanahan is one of the better coaches in pro football.
It'd be an interesting exercise because honestly, I don't know. Like, would you rather have McDermott? I would rather have Kyle.
Would I rather have McDermott? McDermott's a really good defensive coach. It's like Ken Dorsey and McDermott. I mean, I don't know. That's the thing. I mean,
it's like they have Josh Allen. They haven't made it to a conference championship.
They're 5-1. They get the best team in football by a wide margin. I'd rather have Buffalo's team than the Niners team. Buffalo, this defensive coach somehow developed this quarterback. That quarterback has clearly developed.
Yeah. Obviously, like they probably have the best player in football. They haven't been to a conference championship. He's a great coach. I'd take Kyle. Dan, would you take Kyle?
It's toss up, but I'd lean Kyle. Yeah, I would lean Kyle. Okay.
Robert Saleh. I'm not Kyle. Mike McDaniels, after starting 3-0, now he's 3-3. I gotta take Papa Kyle. Patriots, I'll take Belichick.
With Belichick previous,
just for
Belichick
this season.
Now, I don't know.
Just for this season.
I mean, he doesn't have much of an offense.
Yeah, I mean, if we were doing a draft, I would take Kyle for the
running
future,
the ball like gangbusters right now.
Stevenson running, but
Belichick is easily the best coach in the league. So
I'm still taking Belichick. Okay, Ravens, John Harbaugh. I mean, I'd say they've even been more disappointing this year than the Niners. I'd still take Kyle.
He won a Super Bowl.
So you'd rather John Harbaugh? Okay, yeah. I think that's
I'm just saying you won a Super Bowl. You're not going to take coaches that have won Super Bowls.
I'm not going to exclusively take them. I'm not going to take Doug Peterson. Right. Are you going to take Doug Peterson?
Doug Peterson is developing a young quarterback right now and has won a Super Bowl.
2-4.
I like Doug Peterson. Yeah, I do like Doug Peterson.
More than Kyle?
I'm just saying, I like Kyle, but I mean, Kyle's a sub 500 coach whose team is consistently turns the ball over, has tons of injuries consistently. I mean, you're basically just saying it's all in the stars kind of a thing. It's like has nothing to do with him. Okay, I don't know. It's absolving him of a little bit too much.
Well, so that's why I just want to do this exercise. So right now I'm at just Belichick. So you would take Harbaugh also. Dan, would you take Harbaugh?
Oh gosh, that's such a tough one. I like Harbaugh, but I really like Kyle. I'll stick with Kyle on it just because I really like Kyle.
Okay, then Bengals, Zach. I don't think I think we're all Kyle. Kevin Stefanski, Kyle. Tomlin, you could talk me into.
Yeah, I like Tomlin a lot.
I'd still take Kyle, but Tomlin. Then you go.
Tomlin's won 2 Super Bowls, right?
Yeah, so there. Yeah. So okay, so Tomlin, Titans, Vrabel. I mean, he's a good coach. I'd still take Kyle. What about you guys?
Yeah, I'm Kyle all the way here. Frank Wright, I like Frank Wright.
Me too.
I really
like Frank Reich too, but I mean, it's some of these guys have won. I mean, I would take Frank Reich. I think I would take.
If I just go down the rest of the whole list, I'll just real quick. I take Andy Reid. I'll take Andy Reid. I'm going to take Kyle in all of those, and I'm going to take
Sirianni's clearly coached up Jalen Hurts. I mean, the Sirianni's got a lot of things going on right now. You take Kyle over Brian Daboll as well, with the Giants.
Yeah.
I take Kyle.
I take Kyle over everyone except for Andy Reid and Belichick. So that's where I'm standing. I think that's me. I don't know. Some people might think that's high, but I mean, so he's somewhere between like the third.
So you're taking him over the coach. You're taking him over the coach that outcoached him yesterday.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is that you big into 1 game sample sizes, Lair?
No, but I'm just saying he got badly outcoached yesterday by a coach that you're just going to ignore. but that's all right. Go
I
ahead.
don't think he got badly outcoached. He had a lot of injuries.
What was Arthur Smith's record last year?
Arthur Smith was really successful in Tampa. I mean, if we're going by record, Kyle. I love Kyle, but he's sub 500. I mean,
yeah, but you can't.
want to go record? Are we going by record? We're not going by record.
If we want to go by record, what was Arthur Smith last year in Atlanta? Like 7-10.
But I mean, what was Kyle's first 3 years with the 49ers?
Yeah,
12 and 28 or something like that? I mean, you got to look at it takes a while to establish your thing. I get it. You're rah Kyle guy. I get it.
Okay, Larry?
I like Kyle. I think he's a good coach, but I think that's totally rah. I think that's.
You think it's rah to say that I would definitely take a guy. First, you were saying you're a pedigree guy. Now I'm saying I like a coach that made it to a Super Bowl and an NFC Championship in his only 2 years where the quarterback was healthy. And then you're going to take a guy who's been coaching for, no. He's
been coaching a long time.
He's been coaching for 1 year in like a year and a quarter.
Who?
Arthur Smith.
Arthur Smith's like 47 years old. He's been coaching for years. He's been
as a head coach.
He's been the Titan. No, he's been the Titans
for like 2 years,
and they were damn good.
Okay, Kyle was an OC.
They were a phenomenal team. I mean,
I'm just saying he hasn't been a head coach. But Kyle was an OC and went to a Super Bowl.
What about Pete? Pete's got a Super Bowl. You're taking Kyle over Pete.
Yes, I'm definitely
taking Kyle over McVay, and McVay's got a Super Bowl.
Yes,
well, McVay's got a Super Bowl and a way better record. So you're just a rah Kyle guy. You just love Kyle. That's fine. I mean, it's just, but let's just, I mean, I think Kyle's a good coach, but I'm not putting him over guys who have won Super Bowls and I mean, McVay's got a much better record. I mean, it's like,
I will agree with you that I won't put him over guys who have Super Bowls or guys that beat him last week.
But I mean, what about record? I mean, you don't care about the record. So
what was Bill Belichick in his first 6 years? You would have been saying the same thing. Like at some point, you have to be able to look at Bill
Belichick was an awesome defensive coordinator for years before.
I know his record was worse than Kyle's through this many years as a head coach.
So you think Bill Belichick's a lousy coach because he didn't have a winning record at the beginning?
I'm saying that he was still a great coach, and you're saying Kyle's a lousy coach because he doesn't have
I already said I'm already on record saying I think Kyle's a great coach. Now I'm saying he's a lousy coach just because I'm not willing to say that he's better than every coach in the league.
I'm not saying that.
You just did.
No,
you said everybody except for Belichick.
I said everybody. I said everybody except for Belichick and Reed.
Okay, what's the difference? So there's 32 coaches in the league, and you're saying he's better than 30 of them.
Okay,
so
Larry, who would you take?
I'm wrong.
Who would you take over?
Everybody except for 2.
Who would you take over? Name them.
I would say that you can't say that Kyle Shanahan, who has never won a Super Bowl and is sub 500 as a coach, is better than all these other coaches that have way more credentials. That's all I'm saying.
Name them.
All the other coaches that have better credentials.
Name them.
All the other coaches that have better credentials.
Well, you can't name them, Larry. You can't just speak in generalities. Name them.
I don't have to name them. There's too many to name. There's a lot of coaches. There's a bunch of coaches here that have better credentials than Kyle Shanahan, right?
So you
sub 500. He's in his 6th year. Wait a second. He's in his 6th year. He's sub 500. They've had 2 years where they've been good, and you're saying he's the third best coach in the NFL.
Yes,
I'm just saying. I think that's over the top.
In the last 3 years, he has about as good of a record as anybody in the league in terms of credentials.
I personally think the 49ers have had a lot of talent. I mean,
I agree.
I think the 49ers might be one of the most loaded rosters in pro football the last few years. So all I'm saying is,
and the 2 years where they had a healthy quarterback that's a middling quarterback, they made it very far.
But they chose that quarterback. And they passed on other quarterbacks.
That's sunk cost fallacy. I'm just saying what it was on paper and what happened.
He picked his quarterback.
Okay, so he picked his quarterback. All right. Well, he had it. Okay,
that's part of being a coach. That's part of being a coach, right? Is picking the right players, right? I mean, it's like saying Andy Reid picking Patrick Mahomes. You're not giving him any credit for picking Patrick Mahomes?
I absolutely am. But you realize that if we were having this conversation pre-Patrick Mahomes, you'd be saying, no, you can't put that guy above Doug Peterson because Doug Peterson's won a Super Bowl.
That's right. Things evolve over time. You absolutely evolve.
So, like, how are you? So I'm
you
just
evolve,
saying
and we can only operate in the moment.
There's
Today,
only one winner every year, Lair. Like you can't just only obviously it's Joe that next is Joe Flacco. That much better quarterback than Phillip Rivers. It's where does it end at that point? If we're only taking Super Bowl champions, it's almost
we're not. We're also talking about record. Does record matter, right?
What's his record and credentials in the last 3 years? In the last 3 years.
But he's sub 500 for his career.
Yeah,
so that's Belichick was sub 500 for his first 7 seasons.
He's not sub 500 anymore.
Horrible.
Yeah, but I'm saying, is it okay to project out, say what we're seeing with our eyes and project out?
Hey, you like who you like. I'll like who I like. I personally think that Kyle is in a tier that he's one of the NFL's better coaches, but I can't put him in front of all these other guys who have won.
Who?
Like Pete Carroll, Pete
Carroll,
like
Doug
John
Peterson.
Harbaugh, like Mike Tomlin, guys who have actually won Super Bowls. I mean, that kind of matters.
The last time any of those guys you just named won a Super Bowl or was even in that championship game?
But you have him behind McVay. McVay won last year. So what difference does it make?
Yeah, but okay, but one
so
game.
McVay won last year, but that's what, too recent? And then those guys won Super Bowls too long ago? So what are we talking about?
I think it's okay to use your eyes. I mean, Zach Taylor could have won a Super Bowl last year quite easily. I think we all can agree he's not that good of a head coach. Can we use some common sense here?
Well, first of all, I don't think name a head coach that won a Super Bowl that's not a good head coach.
I'd say Doug Peterson's a very
good coach.
He's a meh head coach. I mean, he got fired from Philly.
He's turning around Jacksonville as we speak.
Why? Because they're 2-4.
But I mean, you're seeing the young quarterback develop before your eyes. Why is that not
the past 2 weeks?
That doesn't matter.
He's completely regressed the past 2 weeks.
He's still completing 65% of his passes with 9 touchdowns and 4 picks. He's looking pretty good.
7 fumbles. I mean, I
don't think Trevor Lawrence looks good.
No, I don't. I don't think Trevor Lawrence looks good. I don't think that just winning a Super Bowl just means that you're unimpeachable. And like there's guys that didn't.
But I mean, there has to be some standard. Record Super Bowls, that's the most common. I don't know what you're gauging it on, but
making it to a Super Bowl is something in my eyes. So is making it to a conference championship game. So is losing one NFC playoff game ever as a head coach.
That's awesome. That's great. I just like Sirianni
has
the Eagles rolling right now. Nobody picked the Eagles at the beginning of the year. They're 6-0.
So I don't understand. Sirianni's not a good coach on one hand, but in the other hand, you're like, oh well, this team has had a good 6.
Well, I'm just saying. I'm looking at. I already told you. I'm looking at record, Super Bowls, and now, and trying to balance it all because that's really all that matters. Now matters the most. Super Bowls matter, and record matters. I can't think of three categories that matter more than Super Bowl's record and right now what's going on. Those are the 3 most important to NFL general managers.
I agree.
So, I mean, right now, the 49ers are 3-3. They're looking pretty good, but they have Trent Williams, a loaded offense, Kittle, Debo, Ayuk.
Okay, but Larry, you realize you're totally framing
nothing offensively.
That's framing the argument. The first person you just named has been out for like the past 3 weeks.
Who?
Trent Williams.
But I'm just saying you have a stacked.
No, I agree.
They have a stacked roster. They should have a good offense. There is no reason for the 49ers offense to be scoring 6 points in the second half. That's what they're scoring in the second half of these games. 6 points. So, I mean, that's what's going on now. Okay. They don't have rings. And overall, he's at a sub 500 record. All I'm saying is when you factor in all 3 of those things, I take him off of the top rung and I put him on the next rung. I think Kyle Shanahan's a very good coach, but I think it's also really fair to say, why are his teams always hurt? Why are his teams always among the league leaders in turnovers? Why is a team that has this much star talent offensively producing very little offensively? What year in his regime here has Kyle Shanahan's offense led the way? It's never led the way. It's always been the defense. So his offense was awesome in Atlanta, but his offense here, it's not been awesome.
I think it's been awesome.
It's not awesome right now. They were first in points in 2019 in the league.
And it's like they're obviously not going to lead the league in points.
That's the aberration, guys. That's been the aberration. I think Kyle Shanahan's a good offensive play caller, but to say he's a great head coach over guys who have won Super Bowls, no, I can't do that. And I definitely couldn't do it unless he was either doing it in the present or had this overwhelming record. Then you mix in the sub 500 record, the no Super Bowls, and the struggles right now. And I think the criticism is over the top because it's Monday morning overreaction time. But I also think it's way over the top to immediately say, outside of Belichick and Reed, he's the guy. I think he's on a list of guys. I think you're not giving enough credit to these other guys. That's what I think.
Listen to this. Sporting News. They ranked the top coaches for 2022. Number 1, Sean McVay. Number 2, Andy Reid. Number 3, Bill Belichick. Number 4, Kyle Shanahan. Number 5, Matt LaFleur. Listen to what they say about Shanahan.
Yeah, so they got McVay number 1.
Well, this is what they say about Shanahan. It might surprise some that Shanahan has a losing record in San Francisco since he was hired in 2017, but that includes some early rebuilding days to get the team to go his way and one loss injury-riddled season. He has an excellent, diverse offensive system that is spreading throughout the league with his former associates getting big jobs. Shanahan gets the most out of his team with the right personnel support while in sync with GM John Lynch. See, that's another thing. How many guys of Kyle are getting poached from his staff?
That's true.
I mean, why are they?
Like everybody's also taking the.
Oh, but everybody tires.
Look
the
at
best
Green
coaches.
Bay. Green Bay took LaFleur, and the Jets took LaFleur as the offensive coordinator, for which they took Saleh.
Okay, let's just go through it then. Okay, so Shanahan took over a team. He was 6-10. Then he went 4-12. Then he went 13-3, and they went to the Super Bowl and lost. Then they went 6-10. Then last year they finished fast and went 10-7, and now they're 3-3. So I mean, that's what it is. That's what it is. That's you take away those first 2 years and say they don't count, right? Because those are rebuilding years. So let's just take him from 13-3 on. So let's just say he's just a 4-year coach. This is year 4 instead of year 6. That means he was 13-3 one year, then 6-10, then 10-7, and now he's 3-3. So I think it's solid. I think he's a really good play caller. I think he's a cool guy. I think the guys like him a lot.
I think he's a top 5.
Other great coaches too. I think
he's a top 5 coach.
Yeah, I guess my question would be, okay, so I get
if I had to make a list, here's my list. He's in that group that has the Bills coach, the Dolphins coach, I'll put even Ravens coach in there because the Ravens coach, I wouldn't say is elite. I'll keep the elite list separate. So he's in that group with a coach that I think is a good coach that has either success or credentials or makes me feel good about their potential down the road. I would say
you're going to put Mike McDaniel up there that already.
Well, yeah, I mean, as far as I think McDaniel's a really smart coach, but I mean, he's in that. They're all in that. As far as I'm concerned, there's a huge difference between you won a Super Bowl and you didn't. Okay, so
there's
that's
only like 5 coaches that have won a Super Bowl though in the league right
and that's why those coaches would get in a special category. But here it is for the most part. I would say the Bills coach, the Dolphins coach, the Ravens coach. That's 3. The Steelers coach.
Hold on. The Bills, the Dolphins. Wait, this is your top elite?
No, I'm just saying this is one group of coaches.
Okay.
The Jaguars coach, and then I would have a special category like for the Chiefs coach, and for for the Patriots coach, but I put Dable in there because I think Dable's a really good coach.
Like that's exactly what I said, Larry. I just said that I said exactly what you said. There's the top two of Belichick and Reed, and then
you're putting him in front of these guys. I'm not putting him in front of these guys. There's a big difference. I'm saying Belichick and Reed and are elite. I'd put McVay in the elite category. Why wouldn't you? He's totally dominant. And then, then after that, there's a lot of these coaches like Arthur Smith, who's a damn good coach.
Yeah, but none of them have gone to 2 championship games in the last 3 years.
Yeah, but I mean, we can point. So what? I mean, so what? Mike Tomlin also has 2 Super Bowls.
Okay, I know, but I understand that if we're talking Super Bowls, but you can't argue out of one side of your mouth, okay, Super Bowls matter this much, and then out of the other side of your mouth say, oh, well, what does a championship game matter? 2 and 3 years. What does that matter?
Well, because it matters. The ultimate is, do you climb to the top of the mountain? All I'm saying is, I don't think that
those guys haven't even gotten on those guys haven't even started climbing the mountain.
And when Kyle wins a Super Bowl, he'll be on that list too. But until then, I think he belongs on the second list. He doesn't belong with Belichick and Reed. He belongs beneath them. And he doesn't belong with McVay either, because McVay has won the bowl, and McVay has consistently produced a winner, and the Rams have consistently won. I mean, if Kyle
I think
were
he's
either
on that level, though. McVay's been to 2 Super Bowls, and he beat
he's been to 2 Super Bowls and he's won one.
Yeah, but
Kyle his way into a Super Bowl last year.
Kyle has owned him head to head, except for that NFC Championship game.
Right.
And he had the healthiest roster in the league. Like that was not one of those like, oh my God, what an unbelievable coaching. Like he almost blew the game to Tampa Bay, almost blew the game to the Niners, almost blew the game to the Bengals, and then they ended up being the winner. But it wasn't like oh my God, what a coaching performance.
He won the Super Bowl. He's like the youngest coach in history to ever win the Super Bowl, and you're just going to throw it away.
No,
that's fine. That's fine. You're rah Kyle. I just think Kyle is a very good coach, but he's got a lot to prove, and that puts him in a category with other young coaches who have a lot to prove.
I just don't know why you're so butthurt about this, Larry. Like I'm literally saying the same thing as you.
I'm not butthurt at all. I'm just saying I'm not butthurt at all. I'm just saying that.
Why is you're a rah Kyle guy? We have him the same
totally
tier, but we have him at the
totally rah guy. You're a total rah Kyle guy because there's no credentials that you can point to. It's like this is how
credentials are there for Arthur Smith and Mike McDaniels, who you just put him in a tier with.
But they just started.
But I mean, they've
just started.
Yeah, they just started. Okay,
yes,
Kyle also has just started. I'm sorry, he hasn't coached as many years as Tomlin. Like. He's
coached the Niners for 6 years. They're sub 500. I mean, how many?
How many championship games have any of those guys been to in the last 3 years?
But I mean, what is that? You're talking about now? It's a 3. No, but it's a 3-year window. First of all, Sirianni hasn't been
3 years.
He hasn't been in the league for 3 years.
Before the 2019.
Sirianni doesn't.
Yeah, but Larry, on one side you're trying to crown these young coaches who haven't done anything, and then you're trying to say,
I'm very clear. No, I'm very clear about this. I'm very clear about this.
All right.
If you've won a Super Bowl, that puts you in a different category, as far as I'm concerned.
I'm concerned. If you've made it to 2 NFC championships, you're above a guy that started off 6-0 this year, and that's all he's done. I think that's reasonable.
That's not fair to Sirianni. What if Sirianni can't do any better than 6-0?
It's been one and a quarter year. So is that I mean, is Jalen Hurts, I guess, is the best quarterback in the league now?
Yeah, he kind of is outside of Mahomes and Allen.
Okay, yeah, your thinking is you take them in the same tier.
Here's what you got. You have to have some barometer. You either have to have the present or the past or some barometer.
Okay.
What's yours?
Let me ask you this.
My barometer's last 3 years.
So it's all about the last 3 years.
It's the last 3 years.
So that's all that matters is the last 3 years.
Well, I mean, I don't know. What's your barometer?
If the last 3 years are all that matter, then there's several coaches that have won Super Bowls that were more than 3 years ago that wouldn't even be on the list.
Let me ask you guys this:
Andy Reid's not great because he was the Super Bowl. His win was that more than 3 years ago.
I want to say Andy Reid's win in 2019 had Kyle won that game.
Andy Reid would be considered a total choker like he was for the whole first part of the year. I just choose to believe that that it's possible to be a great coach and not win the Super Bowl.
Not win games?
Not win the Super Bowl.
But also, can you be a great coach and be under 500 6 years in?
I mean, Bill Belichick he was under 500 8 years in. So, yes, I would say is the answer to that.
Wow. All right.
I mean, Bill Walsh.
That's awesome.
Bill Walsh was negative, like what, his first 4 years in as well. He won a Super Bowl, but he also had a losing record.
He was 2-14 and then 6-10, but then he won a Super Bowl.
Okay, I know.
Yeah, that's winning a Super Bowl matters.
I'm not saying it doesn't. I also think that making it to an NFC Championship 2 out of the last 3 years matters. Going to a Super Bowl matters.
I think Kyle Shanahan's a good coach, but I mean, as far as there has really hardly ever been a year where they've been led by their offense. They've been led by their defense. This whole run has been about dominant defense.
Yeah, it's complementary football. That's what the Kyle Shanahan offense breeds is clock management. They're not going to score as many points. They're going to make sure their defense is resting on the field.
The Atlanta teams he had.
You would put Doug Peterson over Kyle because he's won a Super Bowl?
Yeah, I would.
But he got fired at Philadelphia, and he basically ran out of town because he made a bad decision. Because they made a bad decision, and now he's going to be in Jacksonville doing good things there.
Well, it seems like they made a good decision because they're 6-0.
Well, they weren't 6-0 last year. Now were they? The Eagles were not very good after getting rid of Doug Peterson. I think Doug Peterson's a good coach.
Who coached last year with the Eagles? Was it?
It was Sirianni.
Yeah.
I'm just saying it takes time to build your program. So that's why I took off the first 2 years of Kyle's record, because it takes time to build the program. But I also think that you need one of three things. You either need to be going really good right now, you need to have a good record, or you need a Super Bowl win. You don't need it in the first couple of years, but you need it eventually. And right now, Kyle Shanahan has a sub 500 record, no Super Bowl wins, and his team's not looking good offensively, despite having a tremendous cast. That's all I'm saying. I like him. I think he's a good play caller, but right now to say that he's, elite, I think is very much a vote of confidence that I don't feel like he deserves at this juncture, because I think that ultimately they've been carried by a defense and a run game, and now that their run game has gone south on them now 4 years in a row. 4 years in a row, their run game has gone down as far as production. So I'm kind of wondering about where the thing goes from here with Kyle Shanahan, because I'm not seeing a team that looks really good offensively in the present. I mean, they're not an awesome offense. I mean, people point the finger at Jaquiski Tartt in the Super Bowl or in the NFC Championship game. They had 2 full offensive possessions after that. They didn't get any first downs. So, I mean, I don't know. I want to say he's an offensive guru. I really like him, but I don't.
It doesn't even really matter. It doesn't really even matter. But just know, Larry, you can't change your opinion. This is just look.
Yes, actually, you can change your opinion, and you should change your opinion as we go, because it evolves. Your opinion tomorrow is going to be different than it is today, because
I'm also
going to play games and win and lose.
I'm prognosticating here. I'm prognosticating. I'm looking at the most recent evidence, and then I'm prognosticating. Is it okay for me to say that I think I think Kyle's an elite coach?
I'm not saying it's not okay. I'm just saying that I think that that's totally glowing, considering that guys who have better credentials,
who
across the board.
What coaches in the last 3 years? What
Sean
coaches
McVay
in the last 3 years
has a better record, and he has a Super Bowl, and he probably has a very close to, if not better, record over the last 3 or 4 years.
Okay, I mean, I think
that's not on your list.
No. I'm just saying that I have Kyle above him. I mean, he's 1 or 2 slots after.
But that's what I'm saying. He's got so that's what I'm saying is that guys who have better credentials are down the list on your list because I said you're rah Kyle. That's what I meant. You have Kyle above guys who have better credentials.
I get it, Larry. You're old school. You have to win a Super Bowl in order to
McVay's 34 years old.
Get it, Larry, you're old school, man. You're like Tomlin, Doug Peterson, Pete Carroll.
I'm not old school. I'm not old school. I'm only school, which is if you win a Super Bowl, that matters.
who has anybody said that winning a Super Bowl doesn't matter? You're saying that
where's old school come into it? Why? What does that make it old school? Because a Super Bowl matters?
That matters, Larry. I'm saying there's other factors that have to be considered. Bill Parcells was often praised for turning around programs that were crappy, making them consistent winners.
But he won a Super Bowl and had an overwhelming winning record. But he had an overwhelming. He also had an overwhelming winning record
he's one
and
of the
Super
best
Bowls
coaches of all time.
Absolutely. Who's arguing against it? I'm
So
not.
is Barry Switzer a great NFL head coach?
Barry Switzer has a Super Bowl, but he's not successful currently, and he had easily the most talented roster of all time, and they went downhill from there.
I think any one
It's
of us.
not, Danny, it's not the only thing that matters. Winning the Super Bowl is not the only thing that matters, but Super Bowl, having success in the present, and a winning record matters. So yeah, Barry Switzer is a pretty good coach.
Let's look at Bruce Arians, and I'm going to bring up something. What do Bruce Arians and Bill Belichick have in common?
Tom Brady.
Yeah, and what have they done without Brady?
Nothing.
So Bill Belichick now stinks.
I didn't say
Larry. You know that's bad framing.
So what are you saying then? What's your point? To what end? I mean, sir, what are we talking about? Bill Belichick sucks?
No.
We're saying Bill Belichick was one of the greatest defensive coaches in the history of the NFL.
Larry,
Bill Belichick's one of the greatest defensive backfield coaches the league's ever seen.
Nobody's arguing against that. All we're saying is name one of these coaches that you're saying has to be held on a platform above Kyle, who didn't have an all-world quarterback that won it, and then they've gone on to do something else without that all-world quarterback. If you remember, John Harbaugh was about to get fired before Lamar Jackson started stepping it up. Like, what? I'm sorry, but what was Mike Tomlin since Big Ben started?
Here's the thing about it, though. Part of being a winner is picking the right quarterback.
Okay.
Do you not think that's part of it? So you're absolving Kyle of picking the quarterbacks. He picked
but that's
the
a
quarterback.
sunk cost, Larry. That's a sunk cost. I agree that.
But
I'm saying Jimmy is already on this roster, so all we can do is judge how they are as a head coach right now and going forward.
Right
He's
now
not a player personnel guy. I mean, people get lucky; they stumble in the quarterback.
He handpicked the quarterback. He picked the quarterback, and it's like, you know what? Picking the right quarterback is a big part of whether or not you win or lose. Would you agree? Would you agree or not?
I do agree, but would you also agree that a lot of these guys get lucky with these great quarterbacks? It's not all on them.
I don't know. I don't believe in lucky. I really don't. Not when it comes to personnel. I think you either had the vision and you picked the right guy, or you didn't have the vision and you picked the wrong guy.
Let's take personnel out of it.
But I'm just saying, having your quarterback matters. You're trying to throw out all these other topics.
No, I know, but you're saying crazy things like, "Oh, so you think Belichick stinks? Oh, you think personnel doesn't matter?"
Because you're making it sound like Belichick without the quarterback is not a good coach. And I'm just here to tell you that.
No. I have him as number one still.
But you cited that he didn't win a Super Bowl. But I'm saying before he ever won a Super Bowl, he was still an incredibly highly regarded coach by NFL people.
Just as Kyle Shanahan is right now, and he even has a better record through year 6. I agree. But he hasn't found his Tom Brady yet.
I'm not arguing that Kyle Shanahan's bad. I'm just saying that Kyle Shanahan's not the best. That's all I'm saying.
I'm saying,
and I don't think he belongs with the best. That's all I'm saying. I mean,
that crazy?
That is crazy because there's lots of guys who have more credentials than him. And credentials
over the last 3 years, who?
But Brian, record bowls and currently.
Over the last 4 years, let's say.
Record bowl and currently he's sub 500 no bowl, and currently they don't look good.
Well, that's a very good way to make him sound as poor as possible. But if you want to add a little more context into it, like, who has made it to championship games multiple times out of the last 3 years? It's like Andy Reid, Kyle Shanahan.
But I mean, what about roster? I mean, Danny just brought up Barry Switzer.
Barry Switzer out of it.
But so is Barry Swit. But no, you can't. take personnel out of
I'm
it.
saying let's just take personnel out of that because that's an argument neither of us are going to win. That's a brick wall. There's no way of getting around it.
I'm not trying to win an argument. I'm just telling you that that Barry Switzer won a Super Bowl, but he had awesome personnel. So is Barry Switzer the greatest coach of all time because he won a Super Bowl? Because he had awesome personnel.
No, but you said that winning a Super Bowl puts him at a higher level.
Absolutely. You win a Super Bowl, puts you at a higher level, but still it has to be factored in. There's nuance to a lot of this. First of all, he's an awesome college coach, and he won, did nothing but winning. Yeah. And but the bottom line on the thing is he won, but he won with incredible players. So nobody really views Barry Switzer as one of the great coaches. All I'm saying is Kyle Shanahan has a great teams, truly great rosters.
You're saying he's a great personnel guy?
I'm saying that John Lynch is a very underrated personnel guy, and the people that work for Lynch have put together incredible
so gets all
rosters.
the blame for the quarterback, but none of the praise for the roster.
No, he does. First of all, he handpicked the quarterback. He didn't have to. He chose C.J. Beathard. He wanted to go with Brian Hoyer. He wanted to trade for Jimmy Garoppolo.
This is how we get
6 years in, but it's 6 years into this thing.
Okay,
picking your quarterback.
This is life right now, Larry. This isn't a video game you can just sim forward 8 years into the future. Like this is like he has Jimmy Garoppolo right now.
If Andy Reid doesn't pick Patrick Mahomes, maybe he doesn't win a Super Bowl, but he did.
Yeah.
So that's kind of part of it, right?
Yes.
So Kyle Shanahan picked Jimmy Garoppolo, but if Jimmy doesn't win the Super Bowl, that means that it's on Jimmy. It's not on Kyle. Because so you can pick the right quarterback and be credited, but you can't pick the wrong quarterback and be faulted.
Larry, who was the number 2 on the depth chart heading into this?
That was actually a question. You can pick the right quarterback, and that's puts you can win with that right quarterback, and that's good. Well, but if you pick the wrong guy and you don't win, that's not bad.
I just happen to not put everything on the head coach, no matter what happens.
I don't either. I don't either. I'm just looking for something. I'm looking for something to validate Kyle Shanahan as the top tier coach.
2 conference championships in the last 3 years. He's taken a middling quarterback to the Super Bowl, and he's never been blown out in a playoff game. Is that good enough for you?
No, it actually isn't because he's sub 500. He's sub 500, and he's never won that Super Bowl. And he's got great offensive talent, and they don't produce any points.
Okay, but Larry, you just 17 and 18.
Larry, the question you just asked me was name one bit of like credential or anything to establish him. That's all the credential I can give you.
Right. So the last 3 years, and the incredible talented teams, and they had great defenses. Those teams weren't there because of their offense. He's an offensive coach. So,
but he's had in your mind, though, Larry. I would say
calling Brian Billick. Wait a second. It's like calling Brian Billick a great coach. Was he a great coach? He got to the Super Bowl. He was an offensive coach, but when he got there, he had the 2000 Ravens. He won the Super Bowl with a killer defense, one of the greatest defenses of all time. But
I agree. Tom Brady completely carried Belichick to a couple of those blowout Super Bowls. When the defense didn't show up because he's a defensive guy, right?
What's that?
You're saying that Kyle doesn't get credit. Well, there was Patriots teams that won solely on the back of the offense. So does that mean that Belichick doesn't get credit for those years?
No, I'm not saying Kyle doesn't get credit, but I'm saying that when you're looking at him, did he win the Super Bowl with his offense? No. He won
the Super Bowl.
He didn't. No, I know, but I'm just saying if he did it this year, their offense is not good.
We can cherry pick any coach.
They have great players.
Okay, we can cherry pick as much as we want. I'm just saying that I think he's the 3rd best coach. I don't think it's reasonable for you to think, oh no, I think he's the 8th best coach. But I'm saying he's between 3 and 8 or whatever, 3 and 10.
I mean, we probably think he's about the same. But all I'm saying is, there's a big difference between like a McVay who's got a Super Bowl win.
I personally do not at all.
I don't see a big difference between McVay and
in the same division with a better record and the Super Bowl, but he's lesser in your mind.
I think he's had superior injury luck, and he had the better quarterback last year and kind of backed into one.
Better quarterback is what won that. I will say
we're going to injury luck.
I think Marty Schottenheimer is a better coach than Doug Peterson. Call me crazy.
Injuries are lucky. It's all about luck.
I don't know. So you're blaming Shanahan. You're saying that injuries are not
all about luck and that Shanahan is a big reason why the injuries are happening. Okay, good to know.
No, I'm saying that he's the head coach, and they've had 3 years in a row, almost 4 years in a row of injuries.
Logic this out. Kyle had injuries, and to your saying a month ago that Jimmy was trash as a quarterback.
I've never called him trash.
You called him trash.
No, I did not call him trash. No, I did not.
I wrote it down.
I did not call him trash. I did not call him trash.
Yes, you did. Yes,
no, I did not.
You did.
No, I did not. I never called anybody trash. I never called anybody trash.
And said, I'm writing this down.
No, I have not called anybody trash. That's absolutely a lie.
I'm laughing because it was funny.
That's a lie. That is a blatant lie. I don't call people trash. You may have not meant to
say it, but you did.
I didn't say it. I absolutely did not say that. Show me where I said that.
It was after the Broncos game.
Go ahead. Show it. Show me the video. I want to see that.
Okay. We'll see if we can pull it up. But anyway, the fact that Kyle has, with a sub tier, whatever you want to call him, a below mid-range quarterback, and all the injuries, has been able to get to the conference championship 2 out of the last 3 seasons. This season still.
MF says Larry did not call him trash. Thank you. I did not say that. Absolutely did not say that.
I know Ryan said he wrote it down during. I don't. What show was that? That was after the Denver performance, the horrible Sunday night.
I'm gonna try and find it. Give me one. Okay. Give me like 5 minutes.
If you show that, you're done. Because I did say that. I definitely didn't say that. But if you show that, you're freaking done.
We'll show it off air.
I just think you're total rah-rah. I think you're just trying to kowtow to the room because you know we're going to be in the room in 2 days. I honestly, because you
you're insulting my journalistic integrity. I think you're just trying to be a little contrarian right now, Larry.
No, I think you know we're going to be in the room, and you're just trying to be a suck up boy.
We all know Kyle's watching these late nights.
Come on, man. McVay's not as good as Kyle because McVay's got a better record and the Super Bowl, but he's not as good as Kyle. Even though they still have they have the same record today.
People in the league that don't think that. I listen to Mike Lombardi.
Mike Lombardi. Yeah.
Mike Lombardi thinks that McVay's nowhere close to the coach of Kyle Shanahan.
Well, we'll see. I mean, it is interesting. One guy's got a winning record and the Super Bowl. Anyway, let's talk about something else.
How about if we go to the commercials when we come back? We could do the. Do we still have time to do the NBA over?
Yeah, we could run through them quickly.
All right. Let's go to the spots. Ding, ding, round back to your corner.
Larry Kruger here for Telmetrics. Thanks to Casey Bateman and the good people at Telmetrics. If you're an occupational therapist, if you're an orthopedic surgeon, a chiropractor, a physical therapist of any kind, Telmetrics is designed for you to use in your practice and will greatly benefit your patients. Telmetrics uses computer vision and artificial intelligence and provides a platform for outpatient rehab therapy services, both in the clinical and the telehealth environments. So using Telmetrics can improve your patient's experience and much more. So for all your sports injury needs, or if you're a physical rehabilitation specialist of any kind, call and make sure you use telmetrics.co, TELMETRIX.co. And thanks to Casey Bateman and all the good people at Telmetrics for being a proud sponsor of the crew. I'd like to thank our sponsor, Dan Coach Emilio. Dan is a buddy, and he is a phenomenal retirement planning specialist. And you can contact him today at securemoney.com or to his number 925-628-9966. There's a lot of uncertainty in our world right now, and you want to make sure that your money is secure. That is the key. Danny's got 25 years of experience, born and raised right here in the Bay Area, and he can help you get an immediate 10% premium bonus on your principal retirement account. So give him a call, 925-628-9966. He'll make an appointment with you, and you can sit down. It's not a one-size-fits-all kind of a deal. He'll consult with you and come up with a strategy to get you going to where you want to be. Once again, 925-628-9966, securemoney.com on the web. And thanks to Dan Coach Emilio and all the people at Secure Money for being proud. And thanks to Tony Cassera and the good people at Cassera's Italian Menswear. They are housing the Krug Show t-shirts, and they're a proud sponsor of the show as well. The Krug Show t-shirt, the Krug Show podcast t-shirt is available there at their store in Dublin. Their address is 7372 San Ramon Road in Dublin, California. And go see Tony Cassera and get yourself a Krug Show t-shirt and support the show. And special thanks to our sponsor, New York Style Italian Sausage. That's right, NewYorkStyleSausage.com is their website. Phenomenal product, whether it's the breakfast sausage, the Italian mild, the Italian spicy, the chorizo. You cannot go wrong with New York Style Italian Sausage. Once again, NewYorkStyleSausage.com. Often imitated, never equaled.
We grew up with a Sunday dinner. That means no matter how busy you were, no matter where the hell you were, you came to dinner on a Sunday night. Yeah, Sunday dinner without sausage, it's like a church without God. You know, how can you go to church if you don't believe in God? You know, and along with the sausage also became the discussions. That was discussion night. You know, it wasn't a typical family that you sit there and you're quiet, you know, and you don't talk with a mouthful. Oh no, man. Italians talk when they're eating. Italians even talk when they're sleeping. And definitely we talk with our hands. So if we can't express it through our mouth, through our lips, we express it with our hands. So, and that's what sausage is, really. It's an expression, you know.
So New York Style Sausage was started over 70 years ago. We are the largest producer of fresh Italian sausage on the West Coast.
What makes our sausage in New York style is really the recipe came from back east, from New York, you know, from Connecticut.
If you look at all of our labels, there's maximum 4 or 5 ingredients, which we're really proud of.
There's no preservatives, no MSG, fresh in, fresh out.
The pork comes in fresh, goes out fresh. There's never any freezing throughout the process. We've always used fine quality cuts. We're never gonna deter from that. It's one of the reasons why our sausage is so good. I guarantee you put our sausage up against anybody else's from a flavor standpoint, no one will beat it, hands down.
And do yourself a favor and do me a favor. Go buy a package of the New York style Italian sausage. Guaranteed you will love it, guaranteed.
All right, we're back on the Krug Show. Let's go to the chat. What do we got here? Vicky Pellich, $4.99. Kyle is choked in the fourth quarter of 2 Super Bowls. At the rate he is going, he will pass Marv Levy and the Bills with an 0-4 record in the Super Bowl. There you go. Vicky Pellich for.
Okay, I got to say also, I'm sorry if I let myself get a little out of control. My dad, as I was just walking to go get water, was like what the hell's wrong with you? Wait, well, what are you really on one tonight? Like, what's up? And I was like, well, it's okay. Come on, no, it's just sports.
There you go. This is the path you chose. El Camilo Dorado. That sausage reel always calms things down.
Oh, I thought that was going to be El Camino Doval.
Jaguayo donates $5. First 4 years, Lombardi 39-13, Belichick 31-33, Landry 13-38-3, Shula 39-16, Knoll 23-33, Walsh 24-33, Pete Carroll 33-31, Kyle 29-35.
Just saying.
Just saying. Okay, let's see. MF says, love the Damon and Larry show today on 95.7 The Game. Thank you, MF. Listened on the way home from work. We appreciate that. Appreciate that very much.
God damn it. Dusty Gold figured it out.
Larry and Ryan rehearsed this. Nice job, boys. I'll say I'm legitimately pissed. I'm legitimately pissed off. And if Ryan were here, he'd be in trouble. Like physical problems. I mean, I know he's younger than me, but my wife would have to come out of the house and
hold me back.
And my neighbor would jump in on Rye's side. I just want everybody to know that he would see us fighting and he would be like,
I think I had time for my hedger to come over and hedge Larry's head off.
my neighbor would see me throwing blows and he would come flying over and he'd get his sander, he'd get any axe, anything he had, and he would jump in. I just know it. I can see him. I can see him. The question is
who would Pasquale? What would Pasquale do?
Pasquale, If Pasquale comes by, then we're really both in trouble because he's probably gonna kill us.
Hey guys,
all right, let's switch gears. Let's switch gears. I'm gonna go from legitimately pissed off, legitimately angry, mad, frustrated, and very disappointed, to let's talk about the NBA. The NBA. Where are you guys on? Before we get into the over-unders, where are you guys on the Warriors, Draymond, the signings? The Warriors threw out a ton of cash this weekend. Joe Lacob, what a weekend. He signs Jordan Poole to a monster $100+ million deal, then turns around and signs Andrew Wiggins to a monster deal as well. And the deal was Jordan Poole with the incentives, 4 years, 123 without the incentives, 4 years, 140 with the incentives. Wiggins was a menace in the playoffs, absolutely played incredible, and got a 4-year deal for $109 million. How much money is there in the NBA? That equates to a salary cut. He made $33.6 million last year. He had an awesome finals. They don't win it without him, and they rewarded him by dropping it to $24.3 million this year. But no, I'm kind of joking because it's a huge deal. But $109 million over 4 for Wiggs, $140 over 4 if he gets all the incentives for Poole. My thought on it just initially was just, man, that seems really high for Jordan Poole. Now, I like Jordan Poole. Don't get me wrong. And what do I care? It's not my money. And the cap is going up. I understand all these things. And gambling is, that money's just the tip of the iceberg. And, these guys are going to be making crazy money. When I say these guys, I'm talking about NBA players going in the next, let's say, the rest of our life are going to be making. They're going to make what the players are making today look like just bird feed. Just absolutely, because the money is just skyrocketing. But $35 million per year for Jordan Poole, that just seems really, really high. Now, I know all the people in Warriorland are just like, hey, Krug, shut up. We haven't signed, and it's, this and that. I guess, and I'm not going to question it. I'm sure they wouldn't have paid it if, it's probably in line with other guys of his ilk and the extensions that they're either getting or due to get. But $35 million for Jordan Poole. If you had said to me, what's the average annual? I would have thought 20 million to 25.
Tyler Hero got 4 and 120, so that's 30.
Yeah, so the fact that and that to me seemed crazy too, but the fact that they would vault past Tyler Hero by $5 million a year average annual.
I think a lot of it has to do with incentives. I think it's lower if he maxes out on the incentives, he'll get.
And I didn't read what the incentives are, so I have no idea if he's going to make them or not, nor do I really care. But and it's NBA, and it's like, whatever, you can always deal these guys if you want to, as long as you make the salaries even up and all that. But what do you guys think? That seemed like a lot of money. And then everybody's read on it is that Draymond's gone in 2 years. But I don't think Draymond.
Oh no!
What do you got there?
And it's not the Tim. It is not the Tim.
What does that say? What does that say? House of Prime Rib?
We had a little wager, but that.
Oh, you're celebrating the House of Prime Rib for sure, and now you probably actually have a reason now to celebrate the House of Prime Rib.
My take on the signing.
But wait a second. You're the that's all tied to he's gone either this year or next year, right?
No, after 2 years.
So most people. I mean, he's gonna opt in for the $27 million. We know that. Why? Because nobody's gonna pay him that. Right. But at that point, let's think about this logically. They're probably gonna have at least one more ring in the next 2 years. They may have two. So at that point, he's gonna be 34 and maybe with 6 rings. I kind of think that if he gets there, at that point he would have made over $200 million on the floor, and he's got the TNT thing waiting for him. I just don't know that money is going to be his motivation in 2 years.
Yeah,
and I get the feeling that he could easily be back for like maybe 1 or 2 more years at the end of that for just a lot less money
if he plays his cards right.
If you're him, what would be more important for the Hall? Or what's more important?
Finish out with Steph.
I mean, I guess the question is this: is he have a better chance? First of all, do you guys think he's already in the Hall?
Yeah, I do.
You do think he's already in the Hall?
He's 4. Yeah, he's got 4.
I would think he's already in the Hall too. But there are people that claim that he needs to win more to get the Hall. If he's in the Hall right now. Maybe it doesn't matter to him. Maybe he'll go for the money. I don't know. I just get the feeling that he's going to, if he does play 2 more years with the Warriors, right now, I think we all would say, hey, he's not, that'll be it. And that's probably the case. But what if he plays 2 more years and this thing with Poole becomes kind of like the low water mark and he doesn't have any real major issues and he just plays? And I'm not saying he's great, but he's just okay.
I think you're going to see the best version.
Don't you think they'll they would re-sign him for a year or 2 after that at just low money?
Great vibes.
I'm going to say that Draymond will have probably one of his better years this year. He's motivated. I think you're going to see a different Draymond. I wouldn't be surprised if he has less than 7 or 8 technicals all season long, because he's going to have to. If Draymond just focuses like he did in Game 5 and 6 against Boston, he'll be great. If he goes back to being Draymond of old, where he's running his mouth too much and being. See, I think this plays into the Warriors' hands what he did, because if he gets out of hand, they'll move him this year.
I think you could make a really compelling argument that moving him might be in their best interest.
I don't think it'd be much more difficult to win the title without him this year. I think he means that much. I do think he's on his last leg as far as, as my brother said in coaching, you use up your account, you got so much in your account, and Draymond took a huge deposit with that punch. And he's got very little left in his account. Can he make more deposits this year? Yeah, but he's got to be on what I would say you're going to see this year of Draymond is you're going to see a focused Draymond like you saw in Game 5 and 6, because he was embarrassing, frankly, in the first 4 games of the Boston series. I mean, he was the reason that they were losing that series. At some, he didn't show up at all the first few games. And then
he's such a unique player because it's like I've thought about, okay, well, what if they traded him?
You can't find another player like him in the league.
I mean, think about what he gives the team. You can't find a player that can defend the best player, be a facilitator, be a rim protector, be a strong leader, and be a distributor. I looked this up where he ranks in the NBA because I was like, you know what, this is such a unique player. Let me look up where he ranks. Where do you think Draymond ranks in the NBA in assists per game?
Top 10.
Well, he's not quite that good. I mean, it's last year. Just this last year.
17? Oh, I'm talking just last year. You're talking about just last year?
Just last year, where he ranked in these categories. Points, assists, and all these things.
Oh, assists last year was probably top 15 then. Last year,
he was 16th in assists. He was 35th in the NBA in steals. He was 20th in the NBA in blocks. He's 46th in the NBA in rebounds. So he's got 4 categories: rebounding, blocks, assist, and steals, where he's a top 46 player in the entire league. And then points, he's 274th. He only averaged 7.5 points a game. But how many players do you think there are? And I don't have the answer to this, but how many players do you think there are in the NBA who are top, let's say 50 in steals, rebounds, blocks, and assists?
Like LeBron.
Yeah, there might be 2 or 3
or something.
So I just think that this guy's value is so much greater than we actually really think.
Look at the Olympic team. They picked 12 guys and Draymond's one of them.
Well, and then the other thing, it's like, if you're one of these teams that hasn't won, like, do you think Travis Schlenk would like to have Draymond in Atlanta? I mean, they don't win.
Probably would.
They got a lot of talent.
He'd actually fit in there because of guys like Trae Young.
How about Sacramento? Mike Brown's trying to establish a culture in Sacramento. Do you think Sacramento would like to have Draymond Green? No?
I think they would like him. Here's
a couple other places. Detroit. He's from Detroit. Dallas has been rumored to want him. The other team was the Knicks.
Happens between him and LeBron? Because I feel like if he leaves, it would maybe be to go join up with LeBron. But I kind of feel like that's one of those things where it's like, hey, we're bros. Wouldn't it be fun if we play on the same team? We've competed against each other, and then maybe it's just not. I don't know. I could see them butting heads a little bit, like Draymond calling out LeBron. Or
one thing about that is that they wouldn't win. So then what?
A bunch of old geezers.
I mean, we saw the Lakers you guys saw that the other night, right? With the Pat Beverly, come over here,
Russell Westbrook didn't come into the
Russell Westbrook wouldn't go, and Anthony Davis was like, man, why don't you come over here? And then he got a little closer, and he still wasn't in the huddle, but it's like that's going to be a nightmare.
Well, I mean, Beverly and Westbrook have a lot of history. I mean, Beverly took a cheap shot at him in the playoffs when he was at OKC, and he blew his meniscus. Russ did because of what Beverly come diving in, and then he comes back next year or 2 later. He does it again.
There's just no way. So I haven't looked at every over under, but let's. How do you guys want to do this over under thing? Because I'll say this. First of all, Juguayo says, love Joe Lacob. It's only freaking money. Draymond will get about $24 million, plus everything's okay with the universe because 111 win Dodgers lost. Oh yeah, we're getting to that too. Juguayo, look at that. That was fun to watching the Dodgers go down. But the over under thing is really, that's intriguing. I would say have you guys bet season totals yet before?
I haven't done. I haven't ever had the patience, but I want.
Danny, have you ever done it?
No.
I'm telling you, it is if you ever want to feel what it feels like to be like Ned Colletti or Brian Sabian or Farhan or Gabe or any of these guys that is on a baseball team all season long, just bet one of these sports. Football, it comes down to like one game too often and it's just not as fun. But if you bet a season total in the NBA or probably NHL too, but NBA and MLB, I mean, there'll be 3 or 4 days you'll look at it and be like, I for sure am going to win. And then there'll be like 2 or 3 days where you look at it and be like, oh, I'm done. I'm dead. I'm totally dead. And it's like you ride that roller coaster that, of Ned Colletti. When I would talk to him when he was either Giants assistant GM or the Dodgers GM, I talked to him and, he's a pretty even keeled guy. We all know him, but man, if they won, he'd be up. If they lost, they'd be down. And it's like you ride that roller coaster all season long. And it's the one bet, the over under for the season that, you'll, as I said, you'll think you're done. Like I should rip this ticket up because there's no chance we're going to win. And then there'll be some other time probably where you're like, there's no way this loses. This is home. This game, we're home on this. If all we got to do is play 500, that kind of, you start playing those kinds of games. And I'm just saying, it is really the coolest thing. By the end of the year, you're like, wow, I've never bet the over under hardly ever, where at the end of the year, I wasn't like, oh my God, that was an ordeal. That was an ordeal.
Okay, so here, let me explain.
I would recommend it to anybody. Absolutely recommend it. You have to do it. It's like the bucket list and things in life. At one point in your life, you have to bet NBA or MLB over or under and just see the way it. I'm sure it's different in basketball because I bet the Lakers last year under 52.5. I literally partied on opening night. I watched it and I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to win this for fun. But then there was a stretch, guys. And I think if you followed the NBA like I do regularly, you remember it. There was a stretch last year where the Lakers started to win a bunch of games. And it was like, wait a second. Here they come. But no. So it was 52.5. And what was the final? Let me see what their final was last year.
30.
They were you realize that would be the highest total of anybody this year, I think.
52.5. Let's see what was it last year? What did they win last year?
I think it was 52.5.
It was 52.5, and they won. Yeah, they won 33. They went 33 and 49, and they had to go like 52 and 30 or 53 and 29. I think 53 and 29 would have beat me. And that's what the Warriors finished at, 53 and 29. And the Lakers were 33 and 49.
Yeah, they were bad.
And Vicky, John Hollinger, by the way, last year we had John Hollinger on the show right before the season. John Hollinger is a super smart guy, works for ESPN.com, and he writes this article and he's like really respected. And he had the Warriors at 38 wins last year.
Ugh.
And I'm throwing it around with Tolbert and Brooks going, 38 wins. It was like we were all kind of like,
it kind of gaslights you because you're like, am I missing something?
Right. Immediately you're like, I gotta go check the roster. I gotta go check the roster again. Am I missing something? To 38 wins? What is? And immediately I'm like, what does John Hollinger see that I don't see? And it was amazing. He was just blatantly wrong, just hugely wrong. So we have a list of. Are we going to go? How are we going to do in the over-unders?
Okay, so I explained it a little bit because I know it's a little complicated, but I explained it a little bit when you were froze out. But so this is they did this on the Bill Simmons podcast, and I was like, hey, that sounds like a really fun thing. So you know how we did the NFL wins thing where we're keeping track of the teams we picked or whatever,
right?
So for this, it would be, we each get 10 teams. We do snake draft just like before, except for here's the wrinkle. So you can pick either, like once a team's off the board, they're off the board, but you can pick a team's over or you can pick a team's under, or not, I'm saying it wrong, wins or losses. So like, for example, let's say you have the first pick overall, Larry, and you're like, maybe you have to decide between, I'm going to pick the Bucks because I think they're going to win 60 games. Or you could pick the Spurs because you're like, well, they're going to be tanking for Wembayama. I think they're going to have 60 losses. And so you pick like Spurs losses, Warriors wins, Rockets losses, that kind of thing. Does that make sense?
So you pick wins or losses.
And you get points. Like let's say you pick San Antonio and they lose 65 games. So you get 65 points.
Yeah. So you get 65 points, or you can pick like Warriors wins and maybe the Warriors win 58 and you get 58 points.
Okay. So you either have to pick how many wins or how many losses.
Yes. And like
for every team in the league.
Yes. And I did the math and like, just so that there's no like unfair, like
we're not guessing their losses. We're just taking them.
You're just taking them. So for example, here, so these are the win totals for the year. Well, once we started going negative in wins, I put the loss number to the right-hand corner. So like if you see the highest win projection is Boston at 53.5, but the lowest projection for losses is Spurs at 59.5. So it's like
let's start this thing going because I gotta.
I
gotta get going here.
You got a hot take?
Yeah, I want to get to. I gotta.
All right, I color coded these. Larry, you can go.
Larry goes first.
On what? No, what am I guessing first? What am I?
So you're guessing. If you just look at solely the numbers, you probably want to pick the Spurs because they're projected to have 59.5 losses. So if you pick Spurs losses, like the most win total is Boston at 53.5. So if you're like, oh, I think that the Spurs or the Rockets are just going to try and lose every game, or the Jazz to tank for Wembayama or Scoot Henderson or whatever his name is, then you could pick one of those teams. Or if you feel really strongly about maybe the Warriors winning like 65 games, maybe you pick the Warriors number one.
So it's how, and then the winner is whoever has the most number,
combined.
The biggest number.
The
biggest combined number. So
I know it's kind of weird, but
so you're looking for the wrong season total.
Yeah,
basically either way.
Either way, exactly. Like more losses than like it's almost like I want to go over on this team's losses, over on this team's wins, sort of thing. And then once we get to the middle, that's when it becomes a little like, I'm going to take, even though the Lakers are favored to actually win more than they lose, I'm going to take Lakers losses if you think they're going to be super crappy. And that would be like towards the very end of the draft.
Yeah.
Is that?
I think I'm getting it.
You just pick who you want. You want their losses or their win total. You want the like obviously you'd want the Warriors win total over their loss total. So you'll
so the first pick is kind of like who do you think that is there a team that you think is going to win
significantly more than what they're projected as?
Or like more than like the Spurs will more than you think the Spurs will lose or the Rockets will lose. So like if you think the Spurs will lose 60 games, but you think that the Bucks will win like 63 games, then you'd pick the Bucks.
Gotcha. Okay, I will go with. So basically, I want somebody who I think the number is just distorted.
Yeah,
you want the highest number. Move that arrow there. Get that arrow out of the way there. There we go.
You want the highest number of losses or the highest number of wins?
What do you got that? Okay.
Wait. The highest number? No, because like you're saying Boston is the highest number of wins and San Antonio is the highest number of losses.
Correct.
But like, let's just say I take Charlotte and Charlotte wins 50 games. That's 16 and a half more games.
That means you get just 50 points though.
We're not doing it in comparison to the over under. We're just saying who's going to have. We're just saying okay. If you pick Boston, then you can have you get a point for every one of their wins. If you pick the Spurs, you get a point for every one of their losses. But like if you look at just the lines, it's projecting the Spurs at 60 losses, where it's projecting the Celtics at 53.5 wins. So if you think about it, that's saying it's projecting the Spurs to get you 60 points and the Celtics to only get you 54.
Okay.
Or the Bucks could win 63, 65. Yeah. Or as Vicky Pellich says, go with what Vicky says. Vicky Pellich, where did she say? She may be good in fantasy football. I don't think she's very good at predictions.
She said Vicky Boone says, I think the Warriors can win 70.
I'm sorry, not Vicky Pellich. I'm sorry. Vicky Pellich is tops in.
Yeah, I think the Warriors are going to win a bunch of games too. So
take the Warriors.
Let's see. 51 and a half.
Warriors I'll win 65 this year.
Yeah, I like the Warriors. I'll go Warriors.
Okay, I respect that, Larry.
All right.
All right, Dan, what are you doing?
I'm taking the Spurs.
Taking Spurs losses?
Yeah.
All right. Okay, I'm going Jazz losses. Just because that's what doesn't it kind of seem like they're getting rid of everyone. Yeah. I'll go Jazz losses and Bucks wins.
Okay. So I'm up again.
Yeah, you're up again.
I'm gonna go. Oh gosh, I don't know whether to go OKC, Indiana, or Houston. Help me out, crowd. I'm taking one of those. Taking Indiana, Houston, or OKC. Sean, you're out there listening. Put it in the chat. Come on, Sean. Quickly put it up.
I mean,
in
I
the
feel like
chat.
Sean, OKC. I don't know if
Sean's my
OKC
bookie.
purposefully tries to. I don't know. I feel like maybe the Pacers are the one that would try and bottom out the most. Doesn't it feel like the Rockets have kind of some good young players that are
I'm going to go with
the Pacers. Have a lot more talent than OKC.
They're going to trade it away, though. I think they're going to trade Turner and
trade Turner.
Trade Miles Turner. I don't think they're going to. Yeah, because somebody's going to want him. And
you're going to go Pacers.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
You're going Pacers losses.
Yeah.
I'll go OKC losses.
You got another pick.
You got back to back.
And then I'll go Clippers wins.
Oh, that's what I was gonna do.
Ooh.
Damn you.
Good one.
All right, Dan, it's you again.
Me again. Okay, I'm gonna go Rockets, Houston Rockets.
Oh, you loser.
I know these teams are all gonna lose over 50. So
oh God. Damn. I kind of like the pit. I gotta take at least one more loser. I'm gonna have to go with the Magic.
That was my next one.
I'll go Magic losses, and I'll go. Shoot. What other? I'll go 76ers wins.
You're up on Philly, man. You like that Philly town right now. You. Who's up next? Me. Dang. I had a.
What? I can't believe the Celtics are sitting at 53.5. Doesn't it feel like they're going to maybe like rest Tatum and Brown a little this year?
I like that Philly pick, by the way. That was a good over. I'm going to go.
You have one or two?
He's just one.
I don't know whether to go. I don't want to play my hand.
Oh, I know who I want.
Gosh. Let me think. Did you took the Warriors? Clippers are gone. I'm going to take the Bucks.
No, I already took the Bucks.
Oh, you did?
You could take the Celtics.
Actually, they're bold. So the bold ones.
Oh, okay.
You take Suns or Celtics.
Nuggets with Murray. Ooh.
Nuggets,
Don't you want the local guys? Are you a Suns fan?
Yeah, I take your local guys.
I don't think they're gonna. I think they're gonna be under this year. I don't like the makeup what they're doing. I'm gonna go. Suns are 50. I'm gonna take the shoot. I want the Celtics. They're gonna be. They got injuries. They got two guys out. Okay, I'm gonna go
later that same night.
Yeah, I know exactly.
12 hours later.
I'll take Brooklyn. I think they're gonna be good this year.
I like that.
Okay, I'm gonna take Memphis wins, and I'm gonna take. What's the other one I want? Oh, Cleveland wins.
Oh, I like it, Lair.
Cleveland wins, Memphis wins. Now, do you have to have the same number of wins and losses?
No.
Okay.
No.
So you could take theoretically all teams. Okay, all wins.
Oh wait, sorry. Who you picked? Okay,
Cleveland, Memphis.
Cleveland wins. Memphis wins. All right. Oh, now it's Dan again.
Okay. Let me see. You took Utah's bold or not bold?
Utah's bold.
It doesn't look bold in there to me, but I guess it is. Okay. And Rock. Okay, all those are taken. Okay, I am gonna go. The Minnesota T-Wolves.
Damn it! I really. Oops. That's not good. I really wanted the Timberwolves. All right. I mean, I guess I'll have to just. You know what? I'll take the Suns wins and the Hornets losses.
Oh, they lost LaMelo, didn't they? Is he out?
I don't know if they lost LaMelo, but they did lose what's his face to bad stuff.
Who's up?
Law. Now it's Dan again.
Okay. I can scroll that thing down.
Oh,
Who's
one
left?
second. I gotta put this down. Wait, what did I pick? Hornets losses. I picked the Suns wins. And you picked the Timberwolves. Wolves wins. Somebody's gonna get a low-key steal here with Boston at this point.
I know that's close to 50 points, isn't it? Should be a close to 50. I'll take the Celtics. Yeah.
Oh, God dang it.
I was gonna do that. I was debating between them and Minnesota.
Okay. All right, Larry. Now you got two.
I'm gonna go Denver wins.
Ooh, that's a good one.
And I'm gonna take Sacramento wins.
Oh, you're taking Sacramento wins?
Yeah, because I think Sacramento's gonna win 40.
Okay. I mean, that's I respect you, Larry.
But if you would have taken the losses, you would have got 42 points. 42.
I'm rooting for Sacramento. I gotta root for Sacramento.
Kings wins and Denver wins.
Are you telling you? Are you distinguishing between wins and losses there?
Yeah, he's taking wins.
Okay, but
he's got
big Sacramento wins. You could take losses, but I took wins.
Okay, so
big balls.
I am gonna take. What are the Bulls on there? 41. I think they're gonna have a down year. Pistons. If they win 30, that's worth 52 points. Yeah, I'd take the Pistons.
Pistons losses.
Yeah.
Okay, Mr. Chalk. Pistons Pistons losses. All right, I'll take Luka and the boys. I'll take Luka wins. Mavericks wins. I don't really like the Heat to be very good this year. I'm gonna have to go with. I'm gonna go with the Hawks. I'm gonna go with the Hawks wins. I'm going Mavericks and Hawks wins.
Okay.
Mavericks wins, Hawks wins. All right, Dan.
I'll take.
If you want to be rooting for all these teams to lose, Dan.
Yeah, I do. I'm going to take. I'm going to take. Let's see, Blazers and Wizards.
Lakers losses, you coward.
Yeah, I'm going to take the Knicks losses.
Okay, that's pretty good. Knicks losses. Okay.
What do you think they're going to lose?
I think they'll win 34, 35 games.
I'll take Bulls wins. And I'll take Lakers losses.
Oh,
Lakers does it again. He follows. I hope so. I hope you're right on that one.
Lakers losses.
I hope you get 50. I hope you get close to 50 points on that.
All right, Dan.
What's left? Well, shoot. I'll take the. That should be a gimme. The Heat. I'll take their wins.
Damn it. Okay, Heat wins.
Got to win more than they lose.
Okay, and then I'll take the Raptors wins. Dang it. I do like the Trailblazers losses. I'll take the Raptors and Pelicans wins.
I was going to take the Pelicans wins.
Raptors.
Well, you're up.
There's only two teams standing.
Yep, it's Wizards and the Blazers.
Wizards.
That's actually a tough one. I don't know. I kind of like the Wizards this year.
Who do the Wizards have besides Beal?
Porzingis is.
They have Denny Avdia. They have
Rui.
They have Gibson. Tayshaun Gibson. Or what's his name? He's not Tayshaun Gibson. That's the Niners safety. Who's the guy they have? They have Gibson. Who's the big tall guy for who used to play for the Bulls?
Gibson. It's not Gibson. It's Gibson.
Taj.
Taj Gibson.
Yeah. But they also have is Beal, right?
Yeah, but they could trade Beal. They might trade Beal.
I don't think so. Didn't he just sign a big deal there to stay there?
A Bradley deal?
Yeah.
Bradley deal.
He wants to stay and finish his career there. He thinks he can win a title. So
wow.
Just
there's obvious drug use there.
Yeah, just that alone. I'll take the Wizards to to flop.
See, I would have. Okay. All right.
Look at
Larry.
Kyle McKiernan. Larry doesn't know about Sack. LOL. Well, I know about Sack. I'm rooting for Mike Brown.
Yeah.
So I get Wizards losses,
then,
right?
well, you get Wizards losses, and then Larry, you can have Blazers. And now it's just if you want to go wins or losses.
So what is it? They're 39.5 is their win total.
So they're favored
last year they won 27.
Yes. They got Dame back. Maybe they get Draymond.
Yeah, I'll go losses. I'll go Blazers losses.
Okay, cool.
Okay.
So Blazers losses.
So I only have three teams losses. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 team wins.
What do I got?
All right, I'm gonna run through her again. All right. Well, Larry ultimately wins the draft because he gets to root for Warriors wins.
I hope he's right on that in the Lakers.
It went Warriors wins, Spurs losses, Jazz losses, Bucks wins, Pacers losses, OKC losses, Clippers wins, Rockets losses, Magic losses, 76ers wins, Nets wins, Cleveland wins, Memphis wins, Timberwolves wins, Suns wins, Hornets losses, Celtics wins, Kings wins, Denver wins, Pistons losses, Mavericks wins, Hawks wins, Knicks losses, Lakers losses, Bulls wins, Heat wins, Raptors wins, Pelicans wins, Wizards losses, and Blazers losses. Whew. All right.
Now, if we had to bet a season total,
yes.
Let's just say, could we all pick at least 1 or 2 season totals?
Oh, let's take our 2 locks. How many locks should we take? And then we kind of
we can it doesn't have everybody can we could double up on these. It's not like we could all have the Celtics if we wanted.
We had some double ups, then that would really make me inclined to put a little cash down.
So Warriors 51.5.
What do I think they're going to win?
It's all dependent on health. They went over it last year with a lot of injuries.
Here's the thing. I think they're going to rest everybody liberally every single time anybody at all, especially the older crew, is not ready to roll. They're just going to sit them. But I actually think that benefits them over the course of the season because I think that engages all their young players. So I like Golden State to kind of just rhythmically win. And I think that they'll stay together. I think that, if they stayed healthy and they really went for wins, I think 60 is easily attainable. But even if they don't stay healthy and they didn't get things the way, even if a bunch of injuries happened, I think they're so deep and so loaded. I think 55 is almost a lock. So I like the Warriors over.
I double cosign that.
Oh yeah, I'll triple cosign.
Okay, triple cosign.
I like the over on the Warriors.
You're just writing triple cosine.
Now, here's the thing. Sacramento won 30 last year. Their over-under is 33.5. I like Mike Brown.
Yeah.
I think they can win like 7 or 8 more games than that. I really do. I think there's a lot of potential there. I like what I've seen from Sacramento. I'm going Sacramento over 33.5. And I think it's going to be really, really close. Like I think they might win 35, but my guess is that they're going to win. They're going to surprise people, and they're going to win like 40, 41, 42, and contend for that 8th spot. So I like Sacramento over, but that's more of a Mike Brown, Sabonis. I kind of feel good about Sacramento, the mix that they have, but I don't feel, their history says otherwise.
I really like the Timberwolves over. I like them to win 50 games at least. I'm so excited to see Rudy and like what it looks like with Rudy and like I don't know. Could Anthony Edwards be like a stealth MVP guy?
Yeah, we could have a California. We could just stick on the California teams and say Clippers maybe over. Kings
I like Clippers over too,
and Lakers under.
Okay, here's one that I don't understand. And you guys tell me. Okay, so Sacramento won 30. Their number's 33.5. Golden State last year won 53. Their number's 51.5. Here's the one I don't get.
Okay.
Memphis won 56. I kind of like what Memphis has done to their roster in the offseason. So you have Bain, Brooks, and you have Adams, and you got Morant. But then they have Zaire Williams, Brandon Clark. They just signed Clark to an extension. But then they picked up some underrated bigs in the draft. Kenny Lofton Jr., David Roddy. And I just think both those guys are Roddy shoots the hell out of it. Lofton rebounds the hell out of it. I just think both those guys are going to make an impact positively. I don't know what kind. They're just rotation players. But their over-under is 48.5. And they won 56 last year. And they got better, in my opinion. And they've got young players who are ascending. I think Memphis is a great overplay.
So, Larry, what I've heard as the argument against it, which, and I totally am with you. I think people are looking like they look at the West as like, oh, wow, the West is so much deeper this year. And so they're looking for the teams that like could take a step back that were maybe a little what do you call smoke and mirrors last year?
And they think Memphis is going to,
and a lot of people
step back. I mean, they could take a step back by 8 games, and you still go, or by 6 games, 7 games, and you could still go over. That's a big drop.
I think that you're right, though. I think that a lot of people, I think their perception is like, oh, now in hindsight, it's like, oh, the Warriors, they rolled them easily. It's like, no, that's not what happened. The only other thing is Jaren Jackson, I think, is going to be out for a solid portion of the beginning part of the year.
That could be it.
That could be it. But no, I agree with you. I mean,
teams won't take them lightly this year.
I mean, if I'm leaning on any over-unders, I like Golden State, Sac, and Memphis all over.
Larry, I've got one more reason to bet the Sac thing, just to really put the cherry on top for your handicap. Yeah. So, with the Mariners making the playoffs this year, Sacramento Kings now have the longest professional sports playoff drought. And you can't tell me that doesn't at least like make its way into meetings and like that's going to become a talking point around the media. Like, I think that's extra motivation to try and, make it to at least the freaking play-in.
I really like Sacramento. I mean, the thing about the Kings that always happens is that they're overwrought with negativity. Things go south in the locker room. Coaches, players, everything just goes south, and they'll go through a stretch like at some point in the year where the bottom freaking falls out. And they just can't beat anybody. And it's like the coach is going to get fired and everybody's bitching. And I just think that Mike Brown keeps that thing together. So that's one. Then they added Keegan Murray. I think Murray could win the Rookie of the Year. And then they added Kevin Huerter, shooter, Malik Monk, shooter. It just, to me, they seem like they're 9-10 deep with a decent rotation, nice little mix. Sabonis is a former All-Star. I mean, it's Barnes, Keegan, Sabonis, Huerter, Fox with Davion Mitchell, Malik Monk, Terrence Davis, Rashawn Holmes, Trey Lyles, Alex Len, all coming off the bench. I don't know. To me, Sacramento seems like they're going to stay together. So just that alone, I think.
And Larry, like, think about all the teams that are around them right now in those numbers. Like, if there's any injuries or anything, like, this is the year when everyone's going to try and tank their way to the bottom so that they can have a shot at Wembayama or Scoot Henderson, who I don't know much about, but people are saying is like kind of like a Baron Davis type dude. So I think that if teams like start to fall, I think they're just going to full blown free fall on purpose. And I think that the Kings, the Kings want to win. They don't want, they're sick of it. They're going to try and make the playoffs.
Here's the other one that's really difficult for me, and I'm eager to see what you guys have to say about this one. What do you guys make of the Spurs? Now the Spurs are terrible.
Yeah.
Like, if you really look at the Spurs, I mean, it's bad. I mean, they're really bad. They're the worst team in the league. There's no doubt.
Said, don't bet on us to win the finals.
Right. But I mean, they won 34 last year And he's a really good coach, and they have a very professional organization. The numbers 22.5. I think they're bad, but I think 22.5 bad. Are they? I mean, they weren't good last year. Are they 12 games worse? I don't know. I just think they're another one of these teams that Popovich, they don't have that drama, and they'll just keep playing hard, and they'll just, I don't know. I think they could just stumble their way into 25. The lowest win total in the league last year was the Rockets. They won 20. So the Spurs going to win 22. 23 goes over.
It's just if their roster is pretty
bad.
brutal.
It's really bad. And maybe you said suck for Wembayama.
Yeah,
I could see them being, because Wembayama international player,
Duncan synergy.
Yeah, and just exactly, and just he goes to a great organization, even though it's a bad team. I could see, and
they traded DeJounte Murray.
Remember, the Warriors were 15-67 a few years ago, so I'm hoping the Spurs kind of end up in that territory.
Somebody said the highest paid player is Doug McDermott. Yeah, I think their best player is either Keldon Johnson or Devin Vassell. Like, what the hell? That is quite the roster.
What did they get for DeJounte?
Just a couple future firsts.
So they're tanking. They're tanking.
Oh my God! Yeah.
Well, by the way, Wembanyama is
what the hell
7'4" and just looks fluid. And I mean,
can I see my picks again?
I
think I got a lot of losers in my pick, didn't I? I went with
Graves said Utah under 24.5.
You didn't break it down, did we? Okay, my first pick was
losses, wins, losses. No, you're about even.
What did I have? 10 picks, and I think what am I 6-4 in losses?
Yeah, something like that.
Okay, yeah. You want to get over. Ideally, you'd like to average probably in this league over probably 50 on each. You want to get at least 500 points, I think.
This one would have been fun to do in the NFL if we because the crappy teams.
Baseball.
Where are you guys before we, at some point we end this thing because Danny's got to get rolling here. Yeah. But where are you guys on the baseball front?
I like the I like.
Who did you have tonight in Guardians Yankees that got rained out for tomorrow?
Well, my heart wants the Guardians, but that would be good. I don't know. That's such a toss up. I mean, going
and the
forward,
other series, the NLCS starts tomorrow, right?
Yeah.
So, who are you guys going with between the Phils and the Pods?
Oh gosh, they're both hot.
I'm going Phils.
Who do you want?
Phils went 87-75 in the NL East, and they went 47-34 at home, 40-41 on the road. They were plus 62 run differential. Padres, by comparison, went 89-73, so they won 2 more games. Padres 44-37 at home, 45-36 on the road. Wow, Padres on the road. Jesus.
Well, let me ask you guys this.
Padres on the road were incredible.
What do you think?
45-36 on the road. They were plus 45 for the year on run differential.
What do you think is best for the Giants off season? For the Padres to go to the World Series and maybe win it or not? Because
if the Giants need to see anything more based on what kind of year it was, what kind of crowds they got or didn't get, what the division looks like. If they need any motivation at all, then you got to seriously wonder. I mean, seriously. I mean, if they're not motivated, Diamondbacks took you out back and beat you up like you were, their little brother. And the Padres have stars, and LA just won 111, and you finished 30 games behind them. And the Rockies have some good young players coming through their system that will be up in the year. If the Giants, Are you saying, Danny, because I'm trying to understand this, I think what you're saying is, do you root for the Padres because if the Padres win, that would make the Giants more motivated to spend?
Yeah,
if the Giants are not motivated to spend right now, you know what I'm saying? I don't think that has any bearing on if they'll spend or not. I just think the Padres are hot. And then I'll tell you the other thing is that the way the baseball playoffs kind of feel, the feel of the whole thing. Mm-hmm. The Padres at no point, probably until they slayed themselves, at no point were they comfortable against the Dodgers. Why? Because the Dodgers own them in the regular season. So the Padres can say what they want to say, but they had doubt whether they'd get by LA. But now that they've cleared that hurdle, I kind of feel like they're the guy walking around the casino who's up a couple grand and he's just feeling loose and he's just feeling like I cannot lose. Yeah. And I think that's a dangerous place to be in. So I like the Padres. I like the Padres to ride that momentum of knocking off the Dodgers into the series with the Phillies. And I don't know how they did head to head, but that is what I would. That's what I'm expecting. I like Padres.
It's going to be an exciting series, though, because both towns are ecstatic, and I love playoff baseball. I mean, who could watch a 17-inning game in the regular season 0-0? You'd tune out. I mean, you'd just be like, forget this. But You're sitting there watching every pitch thinking this could do it, I mean, playoff baseball, if the Giants, like you said, Larry, if the Giants aren't motivated by watching the euphoria going on in these games with the crowds and just the cheering on every pitch and just the excitement, it's just so awesome. I mean, I have a theory. Some people are saying about the baseball as far as, whining about, oh, they only had a 5-game series and the Dodgers were 22 games better and all this crap. This is what makes the playoffs so fun is the upsets. Let
me ask you this, because Fitz and I have gotten in this argument many, many times. And his argument is that the teams that are the best in the regular season, you want them in the finals, that's better for your sport if like the best regular season teams somehow find their way through to the World Series or whatever it is, Super Bowl, where I actually think that's what makes the baseball playoffs so damn good, is that you can win 111 and you can go home to the wild card team. Exactly. But somebody compared it to this, and this has opened my eyes the other day. It would be like if you ran a marathon, a 28 mile marathon, and won by a ton, won by an hour. And then you wind up losing because then after the marathon, you lost like 100-yard dash to somebody who was like, just resting up for the 100-yard dash kind of a thing. And I get it. You win a 111 and the season should count more than the playoffs. But I like that about baseball's playoffs. To me, baseball is not lesser because some team that didn't win 111 is going to wind up in the World Series. By the time
Giants wouldn't have had any of their World Series.
I know. That's where I come down. I have no sympathy because I have no sympathy for these teams like the Dodgers that win all these games and then lose. Because look, the Giants were in the playoffs 3 times: 2010, 2012, and 2014. They weren't always in the best position. They got it done every time. So I'm sorry, I just have no sympathy.
Yeah, and here's one
Makes
thing.
How much cooler?
If you wanted
people
to
are making it seem like they ought to cancel the playoffs. Like LA Times were like, they ought to cancel the playoffs and just make the Dodgers their champion.
Handed a trophy.
Yeah, you little whiners. Get your act together down there, you scumbags. Listen, here's the thing.
Wait, let's add up. How many wins did the Dodgers have in the past 2 years? Because that is kind of hilarious.
217.
217.
217. That's shocking.
And they went home both times. So here's the thing. If you want to expand the playoffs to 7 games series for the divisional series, here's what you do. You have a couple of double headers during the season scheduled. And during those double headers, you're allowed to bring up 3 or 4 extra guys, bring up pitchers so that arms aren't, increase the roster from 26 to 30 for double headers. And end the season a week earlier and start the playoffs a week earlier and do the first round, the 3-game series for the wild card, and then the division series, make it a 7-game series. And if your top 2 teams that get buys can't get by in a 7-game series, I'm sorry. What are we going to do? Play a 13-game series? So we,
you know what? I'll tell you the other thing that I really liked, and I don't know how you guys feel about this. I liked it to watch it, and I liked it because I thought it made it interesting. I liked the 1-game playoff. Now, I know people would say, oh my God, no, it's baseball series and it should be a best of 3. And I understand that argument, but I just think that if you win the 1-game playoff, I mean, think about baseball. It's like ultimately it comes down to, can you handle the pressure? Well, there's no more pressure than you lose, you go home, you win, you go on. So I just think it's really cool. The dynamic that happens after the wild card is that the team that won the wild card game has already taken the field and played baseball with that ridiculous stakes of you win and your season continues, and you lose and you go home. And I just think that 1-game kind of mentality hardens you and makes you gives you a layer of resiliency and toughness that is really impactful. So if you when the Giants beat the Pirates that year and in the 1-game wild card and Crawford hit the granny, I felt really, really confident in the Giants in the next round. Why? Because I just felt like that wild card thing could have gone any direction. And once you've learned to play with that level of pressure, that's the 1-game wild card is like playing game 7. So you immediately start with game 7, and then you're kind of battle tested because you've already played in game 7 and no crowd, no pitcher, no matchup, nothing can be greater or more daunting than, hey man, if we lose, the season's over.
Yeah,
I like that. I love that dynamic.
I love the format though of the 3 games, all at the home, higher seeds home, and it's just made for really interesting. I mean, it's like you watch the Phillies beat the Cardinals, and then it's like, okay, Cardinals still have 2 chances at home, and then they don't get it done. It was just, I don't know, it's just exciting to see a 3-game series. Do you guys
think that they may change it though? I actually think
so.
That a big reason why it was expanded this year is because the Dodgers, won 106 last year and were in a spot where they could have gone home after 1 game. And I think that scared everyone so much that
I think people they're hedging. They're sitting there going, oh my God, we can't send a 110 win team home after 1 game. But man, it becomes like, you got to see that 1 game. Right. I mean, it's I'll tell you the other thing I really like. I like what it does to the teams and the dynamic of, hey, man, that team that you're playing was rested and ready and they were better than you in the regular season. But guess what? You've already stared death down and come out on the other side, and there's resiliency. But I also love it from the baseball fan perspective because there's no guarantee that there will ever be a 5th game or a 7th game. You may go through the entire October and never have that it's do or die for both. Yeah. And that is kind of cool. You start with do or die for both. And then it's kind of, if you're not into the baseball playoffs or not into the baseball regular season and you just want to get in the right mindset, you just watch that 1-game playoff and it's like you are in.
Wow, Larry, you're preaching so hard that Kyle McKiernan might buy you an Amazon gift card.
What's he saying?
He's like, well, he was saying basically he was typing exactly like what you were saying as you were saying it, and you just got him so stoked that he was like, maybe I get Larry.
Yeah, everybody's
he's saying F the 3. Oh, so he doesn't like the 3-game wild card. No. It's not that I don't like the 3-game wild card. I like it, and it's more. I'll say this: the 3-game wild card is more fair. It's more equitable, and it's more in line with what you've seen all season. But, man, there's something super cool about both teams in a do-or-die mode, and you get that in the 1-game playoff, and it's not even guaranteed that we're going to get it at all at any point in the playoffs. So what do you think about that's so cool?
What do you think about transitioning? What do you think about what Benjamin says? NBA should do the 3-game playoff for the first round. More upsets, more exciting.
As opposed to best of 5?
They're doing 7.
Or do they go 7?
No, they're going. Are they go 5 the first round, or do they go?
Wait,
are they 7?
Is it 7?
Well, okay, so
wait,
it used to be 5. It used to be 5, and then when the Kings played the Lakers, if you guys remember this,
play last year, it was the first round. Who did the Warriors play?
Denver.
4. It's 7. It's 7. They beat them 4-1.
Oh, that's
7.
I can go for a 5.
They switched that.
Yeah,
you know how
to be
crooked
5.
the NBA is? They switched that in the middle of the season. Do you guys remember that?
No.
That was the year that Shaq had toe surgery, and the biggest draw was going to be Kings Lakers. That's the series everybody wanted to see, and it was setting up for Kings Lakers to be a first round matchup. And so they said, we can't have that. We got to make it a best of 7. So David Stern announced in the middle of the season that they were changing the first round from best of 5 to best of 7, and it stayed that way ever since. But they did it for business reasons. I mean, that's always a little funky when you do it, when you change things after the games start.
Well, plus it's like we all know in the NBA playoffs, like everybody that watches basketball knows that if a team is up, 3-0 or they're up 2-0 and going back home, that, there's always some home cooking and some BS to extend the series. So it's like at that point, if that's what you're going to do and instruct your refs to do, let's just make it 5 games and just have more drama.
The one thing I don't like about the NBA playoffs is it gets into this rhythm of like, all right, the series was never like you see this in the NBA series that goes 7 where none of the games are close.
Yeah,
that's bizarre. It's like your turn, my turn, your turn, my turn. Oh, we're at home and it's 6. We blew them out. Oh, but now we're in their home in 7 and we got blown out. It's like I get the feeling sometimes that there's like a rhythm, like it's like my turn to win, your turn to win. That's the one thing I always loved. The one thing I always loved about the NCAA tournament is just the format, right? The win and you move on, lose and you go home. And I think there's some NBA people that they're pushing for the in-season
tournament. Daryl Morey
tournament.
wants it.
Yeah, and it is, and you think about it and you say, well, God, people sit there in March and it's so
What's
great.
Daryl Morey want? What's he want?
Never mind. I said that. Maybe I said that wrong. Daryl Morey wants the actual playoffs to be 1 game.
Right. He wants a 1 game. He wants a 1 game. He wants the NC2A tournament.
Yeah,
they won't do that because of the revenue.
They won't do that because of the revenue. But here's the thing about it, though.
Compelling as hell, man.
It's like people act like college basketball in March is better than pro basketball, and it's nowhere close. And it's really it's like it's a debate that really bothers the NBA media crowd tons because they, people, these NBA players and they're this and that, and the college game's way better. But what people are really saying is the format's better.
Yeah,
the format is awesome. I mean, you guys saw college football last weekend. Look at what college football is. College basketball in the tournament is kind of the same type of thing. It's this awesome venues, awesome environment, and it's really, really cool. But the basketball is nowhere near as good. I think I would love to see if the NBA players, if you could get them to play hard for 1 game, and there was a tournament, even if it was in season, I don't know if it was holiday tournament. If you could create a one and done tournament, I think that would be very, very fun to watch. Very fun to watch. I don't know that if the players dog it, then screw that.
They have to figure out the right incentive to get the
right incentives have to be there. But man, if you got that, I think people would stop saying in March, college basketball is the world's better than the NBA. No, the format is just so damn compelling.
Well, they kind of have a little bit of it with the play-in game. It's kind of exciting.
Yeah, which was great.
That was
everybody bitched about the play-in game. I think coming out of the play-in game tournament thing, didn't everybody seem to be like, hey, it kind of was great.
Yeah. I mean, as Warriors fans, obviously, like we were a little butthurt that one year.
That was one of the best games I've ever seen, that Laker-Warrior game.
I mean, those games were incredible. Those were incredible basketball.
Yeah,
they lost both. They lost to the Lakers and the Memphis, but that Laker game, they were back and forth, and they had the Lakers down, and LeBron hit that 3-pointer from
I saw 3 rims.
How would that, I don't know what the NBA can do to make that tournament go, but
they got to get the cool NBA guy, because the second like the cool stars start being like, oh, I'm too cool for that tournament, then it starts losing its luster. But like
it's it'd be really cool. I think it would be really cool is if you gave the players bonuses, but then you had a massive charity bonus. So like, let's say they're all going to get a solid amount of money, 50 grand to the loser and, 250 grand to the winner. Right. Well, I mean, it's still 50 grand for one game. Oh. Yeah. One game. But what if it was like $5 million to the charity? Because they get no, so that like literally they'd be almost embarrassed to not go hard because man, what would that $5 million mean to that charity?
I think we should become
and
a
it
charity.
would be such a great thing.
The Crew Show.
You know what they should do, Larry? It
would be incredible.
In order to get the stakes proper, we have to get $5 million to a charity of your choice. But if you lose, then you have to take $2 million from the charity you like the most.
You take money from the charity. Some really bad planning thing where NBA players are profiting off of charities. Do you realize that this NBA player now bankrupt Meals for Wheels, Meals on Wheels, or St. Anthony's Dining Room is now in debt by
Graves, that's a low blow.
The charity would be the WNBA.
I like it, Graves. I like it.
How about this? How about this? You win, the WNBA stays. You lose, the WNBA goes.
Oh.
No, I'm just joking. In fact, you know what? I did an interview with David Stern once. I mean, seriously, somebody asked me, my kid asked me the other day, he's like, Dad, did you ever interview? And we started naming different people that I interviewed. And I realized I've interviewed a lot of big name people. So I interviewed David Stern. And I asked him, it was one of these interviews that Ray Ritter set up from the Warriors, which is, thank you, Ray. He's the best PR guy ever. And he's like, hey, would you like David Stern? I'm like, would I like David Stern? Yes, I'd like David Stern. So I had him on and I asked him, I said, David, what would you say is the greatest achievement of your career? And I thought it was a good question. And I thought he was going to maybe say the lottery because of the, or maybe, the TV contracts, the growth in revenue. He said the creation of the WNBA. Now, I understood why he said it. It was very, somewhat self-serving and somewhat, I don't know, maybe self-serving is the wrong word, but somewhat, look at me, look how great I am, But his point was really solid, which was that, hey, guess what? When we created the WNBA, we opened the dream of an NBA professional basketball career from half the population to the entire population. And that is significant. And when he said it that way, I was like, wow, it really is true. And as somebody who has a daughter, it's like, my daughter's not going to play in the WNBA. She doesn't even play basketball. But it is cool to be able to look your daughter in the eye when she's 5 or 7 or 10 and say, guess what? If you're good enough, you can be anything you want to be in this world. I want to be a basketball player. If you're good enough, you can be a basketball player, as opposed to, well, sorry, you were born a woman and you can never play pro basketball. Sorry.
Maybe go to Yugoslavia and make like,
so
a year.
I totally got it from that perspective. I was like, yeah, you know what? That is actually pretty impactful.
Hey, yeah. Jaguayo. Hey, have a good night. You too, Jaguayo. Thanks for the $2. Stay blessed.
Yeah, stay blessed.
And
he says, please, Pasquale.
Oh, wait.
Okay, we'll give you 30 seconds. We'll give you a couple.
We grew up with a Sunday dinner.
There you go.
Did we already get this one earlier from Pasquale, from Jaguayo?
Oh, no.
Okay.
Over 58 wins for the Warriors, over 60 wins for Pasquale. All right. That's good stuff.
It's good stuff.
Hey, let's call it a night there. Is there anything that we wanted to touch that we didn't touch in this live stream? We argued, we fought, we made up, we talked football, we talked basketball, we talked a little baseball. Only thing we didn't talk, Danny didn't trade anybody. Danny, you have one trade that you'd like to propose.
Baseball, football, basketball. What do we got? What do you want?
Well, just as long as it stays consistent, like can't be a trade between like an NBA and a football team. It has to be.
But which sport you want? I'll make you.
Wait. Does Papirski get a ring if the Astros win the World Series?
Yes, if he was.
Okay.
Was he up on the team at any time, or was he just in the minors there?
I don't know.
I don't think he ever.
Where's Papirski now?
Yeah, somebody picked him up. I can't remember.
Yeah, just the other day, right?
No, like a couple of months ago. Actually.
No, but somebody just picked him up like literally like 2 days ago.
Oh, really? I don't know.
Yeah. He's got Papirski's got a new home.
Yeah. The Tigers. Oh, wait.
All you got to look at Papirski.
Okay, you want a real trade?
Give me a baseball trade. Like, okay, so for example, how about this? Since you were throwing this out the other day, let's piggyback this. I now am on the Dan Coach Emilio train on the Cody Bellinger.
Oh yeah.
So I've heard a couple other people who are on that tip as well.
I think I was the one that started that. Maybe
I know, but I heard a couple people mention it in the last day or two, and maybe some major baseball writer threw that out. Was it Nightingale that might have thrown out that he may be non-tendered?
Is somebody using what do they call that when not scammed, but when somebody takes over your hacked? Did somebody hack your Facebook? Because somebody keeps are you commenting?
Oh, I just commented because MF said anyone want
okay, you have Larry.
I said MF sup.
Okay, I saw Larry Krueger Facebook. I'm like, who's okay?
Oh, does MF is looking to move T Higgins?
Yeah, so I was just saying sup. MF.
I might talk to you about T. MF and I have been talking about T Higgins a little bit, but
here's my question to you: if the Dodgers said, because the talk that I'm reading is that before they non-tender him, they're going to shop him. I think I read it last night or this morning. What do you think it would take? Because it's not going to take true even. Like when a guy's going to be non-tendered, he's making big bucks. That means you could trade for him for a song. You know what I mean? You're not giving even value.
Right.
What do you think it would actually take to trade for Cody Bellinger to keep him from, because I bet you somebody might trade for him. He's going to make a lot of money. You'd have to be a rich team, but there's got to be some team out there that thinks that he could return to, his better offensive years.
Would you trade Would you trade Ramos for him?
I absolutely would.
Yeah.
Ramos?
I think something like that, I don't know if
I'd give Ramos.
I mean, Elliot Ramos for Bellinger. I think something like that could get it done. You got to give up.
Ramos is going to start raking from
all of a sudden he starts becoming.
He becomes Willie Mays.
Willie Mays, exactly. Maybe.
MF says it's Nightingale a legit source.
But Bellinger would be worth a shot to roam in center field.
I'd like the idea of talking him into they didn't want you, man. Like, you know what? We'll take you. You know what? You show
Kyle McCarron, 45 hours old when I was bullshitting with you clowns. I love.
Oh, he was saying before, good perspective. Yeah, I talked to you guys 2 weeks ago, and my daughter is now 2 weeks old. Remember, he just had the kid as he was.
Oh, that's right.
That's right.
That's right. How's things going, Kyle? It's so funny. I was commenting to Damon Bruce today because he just put out a thing on his Instagram from his kids at the pumpkin patch, and I'm like, "Gee, Bruce, my God, I knew you when you were single. Now he's got a." Talk about this, Danny, because Rye can't necessarily relate quite yet. D. Bruce has a 3-year-old and a 1-year-old.
Oh man,
his 3-year-old is the older kid. I mean, that is busy. When you have a 3-year-old and a 1-year-old.
Yeah, no, I mean,
that's just unbelievable.
Outside of the Niners Chiefs, this might be a good weekend to be like Bill Simmons calls them like apple picking or pumpkin patch, going weekends where like you appease your wife, where the slate's not that great. Aside from the Niners Chiefs game, this might be a good pumpkin patch weekend.
Really? Is that bad? I haven't even looked at it.
It's kind of weak. It's we got Falcons, Bengals, Lions, Cowboys, Colts, Titans.
Oh
Packers,
my God,
Commies,
you're right.
Panthers, Giants, Jags.
Browns, Ravens. Jets,
what's the best game of the week? Is easily Niners Chiefs.
Easily.
If you had to say, okay, the Monday night game, Bears Patriots. Come on, that's ridiculous. But I'll tell you
that's an awful game.
I'll tell you the game that I would like to watch. I liked what I saw from the Steelers this week. I'd love to see Steelers Dolphins.
I know. Wait, Larry, do you think it's too risky to pick the Dolphins in the survivor pool? Because I'm now stressing. And I
wouldn't do it.
Who's starting a quarterback?
I think Tua's supposed to be back.
I wouldn't do it.
Because they went with Skyler this last week, and he got kicked out in the first quarter, right?
Kind of a wild move by.
I think the Raiders might be a good pick for the survivor this week. They're at home against Houston.
Oh God, that's so sketch.
They got to win. They got to win.
So sketch. I would say I like Patriots.
Patriots, maybe yeah, you know what, the Patriots
at home against the Bears. I'm taking that for sure.
Hey, I won the Survivor League yesterday, the round 2.
You won it?
Yeah.
You're still alive?
No, I won.
It's over.
It's over. There was down to 3, and I was 2 of the 3. I used my son's name as one of them. And so we were picking different ones. I picked Tampa, and I said, pick the Rams, because I didn't want to pick both of us the same, and then we get knocked out, right? I mean, it's me. So
you're having these conversations with yourself.
The other person picked Baltimore.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So
I actually took Baltimore this week in a money line parlay that didn't cash. But I thought that was a lock, so I can understand that person going with Baltimore.
This weekend has completely spooked me. Like, I don't know who the hell to pick for Survivor.
Yeah, you're down to it's down to 2 of you, because the one that picked Baltimore was my nephew.
Your nephew's out. He picked Baltimore.
He picked Baltimore in both of his.
If you had Survivor and you could pick any team this week, that would be tough. I think I would wait a second. I think I would probably go Patriots. But after that,
the Bears, maybe, yeah.
I'd maybe go Ravens at home against Browns.
Yeah, Justin Fields isn't beating Bill Belichick on Monday. Justin Fields ain't going to beat Bill Belichick on Monday Night Football in New England.
I mean, that looks like the biggest spread out there right now, 7.5. Tell you what, I do not trust Bengals at home versus Falcons.
No, I wouldn't either trust that.
What a coin flip week! My God,
here's another one. Here's another one I like for you. I'd like the Cowboys at home against the Lions, coming off of a
but the Lions are coming off a bye. I don't
know. But I can't see.
You know what I was kind of thinking, and you guys, I mean, I don't know if this is ethical, but what I was sort of thinking is maybe not putting in a pick, because it's probably going to be between Dolphins or Patriots, and hoping he picks one of the earlier game ones, and then just like hoping I get to see him lose or what, you know what I mean? Like I might just wait until.
Well, what is the earlier games? Because he might.
Why not wait? Because I mean, have you used Patriots yet?
No.
Oh well, the Patriots are a lock to win.
Yeah, I think you're right.
I think the Patriots right now are running the hell out of the football. I mean, and you know what?
Bears can't score. The Bears can't score.
Yeah, you're right.
That was what I was going to ask you guys. What do you guys think of Zappy?
He's kind of good.
He looked good this week.
Everybody in New England right now is like trying to trade Mac Jones for a second rounder.
Bailey Zappi's numbers this week: 24 of 34 for 309, 2 touchdowns. He was only sacked twice.
Taking care of the football.
There's a tight end. I just released their tight end, so you could pick him up.
Jonnu?
Which one? Also, Larry, did you happen to see any of Thorpe? The Baylor wide receiver came back this week, and he had like a sick end around. The Baylor wide receiver that the Patriots.
Tyquan Thornton.
Yeah. He had like a sick like Deebo Samuel like end around that he just took straight to the house, and he looked so fast, and he caught another touchdown.
Yeah, he's fast. 6'2", 180 pounds out of Baylor. Tyquan Thornton. Wow.
Hey,
what if the Patriots? What if the Patriots became like I was thinking about this today. What if the Patriots like won a Super Bowl with like Mac Jones or Bailey Zappi or one of these guys?
Everybody's already saying that, you know, Mac Jones is Bledsoe and Zappi is friggin' Tom Brady.
Zappi looks good. Zappi looks good. MF says, who's going to be healthy for the Niners this week? MF, are you healthy? They could use you.
Yeah.
Yeah, they need
I'll say this.
line.
I heard Dennis Brown say that Javon Kinlaw may be done for the year.
Oh, my goodness.
Now, if that is the case, that's hugely disappointing. That's hugely disappointing.
Can we just shelve him for the playoffs or something?
I think Bosa returns. If you're asking me who's going to be healthy for the Niners this week, I'm going to say Bosa healthy, Trent Williams healthy.
Okay.
Armstead out.
What do you think about Charvarius? He put out a tweet like, you know, hyping like, oh, don't let any like red and yellow into the state. Like, I don't know, the vibe he was giving off in the tweet kind of made it seem like he wants to be ready for this game.
I know. I'm sure he does, but he's got a groin. I don't know.
You're a corner, man. You got to make tough cuts with a groin. Oh, man. Jeez.
I know that's tough. And then Jimmy Ward. I mean, is he going to be? Supposedly, Kyle said they're going to test the club at some point and see if he can play with it. I don't know. It's this game. I thought, oh man, if Kansas City loses to Buffalo, they're gonna. This is going to be a tough game. And
they did
sure enough, they lost to Buffalo.
Didn't they lose 2 or 3 in a row last year, or was it the year before? I know one year they lost 3 in a row. I think it was it last year?
I don't. Yeah, they were like 3-3 maybe to start the season last year, but
I know they went through a funk 2 or 3 games in a row. They
there's
lost.
There's some stat that I haven't seen around that I was like looking up. I think Andy Reid every year he's been in Kansas City has had at least a 5-game winning streak. So that hasn't happened yet. So maybe they're going to be a little more of a later half of the season team.
Kyle McKiernan, Larry with the locks. Yeah.
Yeah, baby.
There you go. There you go.
He also somebody said.
And then Fonga's in concussion protocol, so we don't know about him either.
I don't think he is he?
Yeah, I think he was.
But he's out. He played the whole game. He played the whole game.
He came out, but he went back in, huh?
He came back.
He played yesterday. He finished the game.
No, I know, but they checked him in the first half, I think, for a concussion. But could you be back in the game and then still be in concussion protocol? Probably not.
No, you can't.
Yeah.
You can't. You if you're in concussion protocol, you can't play.
Also, I didn't realize this, but I didn't even realize that Ty Davis Price was like active for the game. Apparently, he was fullback on one of the plays.
Yeah, one play. I remember I told you yesterday. I saw him in there. Yeah. He was in there for one. He didn't get the ball.
Weird.
I'll tell you the other weird thing about the 49ers season so far is they've made Jordan Mason active like 3 or 4 games in a row now, and he doesn't ever get any run.
On special teams, or is he on?
I'm looking for him on special teams. I haven't even seen him on coverage units.
Jeez, that's weird. I don't know why you're
really weird.
Have him active. I mean,
that doesn't. It seems like every roster spot on a NFL Sunday is just vital. It's like if you can't play, it's like, oh, there's no chance. Here they got a guy that they've had up and they just don't use him. So I'm not sure what the deal is.
Bomber T says that they sent Hufanga back out with a concussion.
I don't think so. They cleared him.
That would have been a major controversy if that is indeed the case.
He didn't look like he had a concussion the way he was running around to me. I mean,
they're in that spot now, and it's like, people were asking these questions today. Why are they all hurt? This and that, and it's like, I don't know. I really don't know. And if they knew, they would do something about it. Lynch is doing what he can do by not drafting players that missed a ton of time in college. That's the only thing I would do. That's literally the only thing I would do. I wouldn't try to do anything crazy. Obviously don't be Trent Baalke with his, hey, you tore your ACL, come over here. He just like loved the ACL rehab crew. But
I totally agree, Larry. Like, that's like, I don't want them doing, even like when they traded for Quan Alexander, like I didn't, or like D Ford, like I was just like these guys with priors, I just keep them away from this team.
I think they're going to stay away from those guys going forward.
I don't think there is a way to do it where, it's just luck of the draw. But also I would say, Some guys don't like to play football. They're just good at it. And then they're trying to cash out and make a check on it, but they don't necessarily like to play. If a guy doesn't play a lot, that could be one of the things. Maybe he doesn't like to play, where there's other guys who they're going to play hurt all the time, but you just don't know. I
think injuries are way up compared to when, when I was growing up and remember in the 70s and 80s. I mean, the game today, the guys are so much faster and they're going at the ball and hitting at full speed. And then they're in the weight room way more than, and these guys' tendons are just so tight that
got to bring in Alex. Can we just trade a couple first-round picks for Alex Guerrero?
I mean, they just pop.
Everyone working on bands, and that's it.
Yeah, it
is true though. Think about it. Think about all the years. I mean, think about all the years we've been watching the NFL. Just whatever year you start watching it, okay? And just think of the teams that you saw in the Super Bowl when you were a kid.
Yeah.
Steelers went 4 times when I was a kid.
Yep.
70s. They didn't certain years not have Bradshaw, certain years not have Swan or Stallworth or Franco or Blyer or Mean Joe Green or Donnie Shell or, Mel Blount. They had them all every year. The Niners went to the Super Bowl all those great years. Not one time was Joe out for the year, Steve out for the year, Rice out for the year.
I mean, we're like desensitized to it at this point because for most teams,
it's amazing.
For most teams, like a Trent Williams going out is like, oh my God, the house is on fire. And for the Niners, it's kind of like, well, at least he's only out for like 4 to 6 weeks, and but it's like, okay, but this guy's going down. This guy, okay, it's all right. Okay, Bosa's out for okay, fine. It's crazy. It's crazy.
The funny thing about concussions, it sounds like they're talking about Hufanga is still being evaluated. The thing about concussions is because I've had them, and they don't always symptoms. Sometimes a day later,
come and go.
Yeah, they come and go, and you get headaches.
By the way, wait. If you guys want to all feel super old, this is the guy who the Giants just hired as the general manager. He's 33 years old, and he's been working for the Padres organization for 12 years.
No, Astros.
Sorry, since he was 21.
Yeah,
that face is hilarious.
At this rate,
that's a rough.
At this rate, in 2050, the Giants GM will be like in the 2nd grade.
Yeah.
He's 7, but he's sharp. He's really, really sharp.
He spent 4 years around the organization.
They keep getting younger. At what point? How young is too young when it comes to being the I mean, where will people say, because nobody says it now. That guy's 30, right? 30.
He's 33, but like
33.
Still, I mean,
I thought he was 30. But I mean, what age would they say that's ridiculous?
I mean, I feel like a child. I'm that's 6 years from now for me.
I mean, at what age? I mean, the new coach of the Celtics is like 33.
How old was McVay when he got hired?
I think he was like 34, 35.
Yeah,
I don't think you can even be the president until you can't run for president until you're 35.
Oh my God, McVay.
35 to run for president.
McVay is 36 years old. That means he was hired when he was 30.
30, yeah. He was 30.
30. So, I mean, what age is Mick? Right now, nobody ever says, oh, that's ridiculous. But if it keeps going in this direction, what? I mean, if all of a sudden, it's 10 years from now and the Giants general manager is 24, he's like younger than Joey Bart or something. He's younger than prospect.
Buster's son.
Seriously. The 49ers have a new head coach. He's 19, but he's sharp, man. He is so sharp, and the players totally dig him.
What's that one kid we had on the high schooler? He has his own show. Pretty sure.
Yeah.
No, not Chardal.
Rohan.
Is it Rohan?
No. We had him on.
Yeah, that guy who was like 14 or
14, 15. He was in high school.
Smarter than I am.
Yeah,
he was a really smart kid. And he was,
Could you imagine that?
I mean, it's almost reverse.
He's totally breaking down the 49ers like way better than I can.
We don't have to. We save money because he's still living at home.
Yeah,
and he has no medical expenses at all.
He's still on his dad's insurance for the next 11 years.
Yeah, and we don't have to worry about DUIs because he can't drive. And we don't. Could you imagine? And his mom's going to drive him to all the press conferences, but that's great because she lives with him. We don't have to worry about him getting out of pocket. He's not going to have big loud parties because he's 12, and just be awesome.
The only precedent is to go back to like royal, like some sort of like Alexander the Great situation where you're just born into having an army at like 20.
King Tut. Yeah. Didn't King Tut get married at like 9 and his like wife was like 7 or something like that? All right. On that note, let's call it a night. Thanks to everybody.
Wait. What? Ryan. Gotta go out with go out with that thing I sent you on the pod. That was hilarious.
Oh, okay.
Hang on, everybody. You got to hear this. No, not the.
I know. Okay. 1 second. I've got it.
This is hilarious, Larry. I saw this on Twitter. Watch this guy.
Okay, sharing screen in 3, 2, 1.
Everybody, listen to this.
Thank you for calling the Dodgers. This is Sabrina. Who am I speaking with?
Yeah, hi Sabrina. This is Jake.
Hi Jake. How can I help?
Yeah, I was looking for information about purchasing tickets for the NLCS series.
So the Dodgers have been eliminated. We're not playing the NLCS.
Oh shoot! Who did they lose to?
We lost to the Padres.
That's right, baby. Let's go. Go Padres. Woo! It's our year. Let's go.
Thank you for calling the Dodgers. This is Sabrina.
What did she say at the end?
Oh, thank you for calling the Dodgers. This is Sabrina. How can I help you?
Oh, that is so good. That is so good.
I think that guy might be the general manager.
That is so good. There's, if you can't win, obviously the first goal is to win, but the second goal is just to make sure that the Dodgers don't win. And as long, it sounds really petty, but you know what? I felt great. I felt, I'm not saying I felt as nearly as good as after the Giants win, but seeing LA lose and watching the rain come down on Roberts and having him bungle that 7th inning and just all the close-ups of all their fans. And there was one where there's a Padre fan. I don't know if you guys saw this one on social media.
He's like high-fiving everyone. And
then he flipped the bird. He flipped the bird. Yeah, he flips the bird to the Dodger fan. And that was epic. So, because you got to remember, the Padres really, at least the Giants have major history. The Giants they have more championships than the Dodgers. They've got a greater winning tradition than the Dodgers. If you want to go all the way back to New York, the Padres are right there in their backyard, and they have just been backhanded by the Dodgers. And the Padres have nothing. They got nothing other than Pacific Beach and some really killer street tacos and the zoo. I mean, what do the Padres have in the Dodgers? So for them to sit there and just, to beat the Dodgers, I thought that was so cool to watch. That was so incredible. And then Eddie K, that comment by Roberts in spring training, the guarantee.
Yes.
The guarantee. Never guarantee. Never guarantee.
No, I put out a tweet. Can't find it, but it's something to the gist of I was disappointed that the Giants finished 81-81, but I just realized the Dodgers season was actually more disappointing than the Giants, and for that I am so happy.
My buddy's a Dodger fan, and he's doing really, really well these days, right? He's kicking butt, he's making tons of cash. So I thought to myself, how do I screw with this guy? And so I put out, I attached his Twitter handle to my Goodnight Dodgers, for the season tweet. And all I got to think is, this guy's just he's a private guy, just does a 9-to-5 job. He's looking at his Twitter and just like 285 people are, retweeting it and liking it. And oh my God. Every time I think about that, I'm like, yes, good.
Yeah,
good.
They are taking it in the shorts. The Dodgers, everybody is just hitting them. It is hilarious. They are. Bill Plaschke put out an article.
What did he say?
I think I might have sent it to you. I think, but maybe not. I'll send it to you.
Because he
basically said this is the worst loss in LA Dodgers history, and he went back and named all the terrible losses, and he said this is it. This tops.
You win
them all.
111, man. The expectations. The guy that I loved seeing his sad face, and it really got me going.
Max
Muncy.
Yes.
What is it about? There's something about Max Muncy that makes you hate him.
Yeah,
I'm not sure what it is.
Yeah,
but there's just something about him that he doesn't seem like the kind of guy who would talk a lot of trash or. He just dominates the Giants, and he just hits every ball into the bleachers.
Go get it out of the ocean. I think that's
go fish that out of the bay or whatever. Yeah,
when he's a mad bum. Yeah. So, this was a good payback to see the Dodgers just. Oh my goodness!
MF's is SeaWorld. Great. Yeah, they got SeaWorld.
Yeah. To me, this makes the 2020 more of an asterisk. It does. It just shows.
Mark
and
Graves.
even Bill
Plaschke has a
Plaschke said
punchable
that.
face.
Yes. Even Bill Plaschke said this actually gives more credence to the 2020 putting an asterisk on it.
Oh yeah. So does like the Lakers stumbling. It's awesome.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Why? Because it was a 60-game sprint, and
60 games. You can't. Winning a full season World Series is tough. 60 games, and you had no fans, and it's like, the fans.
That's in some ways. It's if you think about it, it's so perfect because now they have this title.
Yeah.
That. Like you can talk so much trash about, and then it's like, is it really a title? Is it really? Is it not? Is it legit? Is it not? And it's like just the whole discussion about is it legit? There's nothing more insulting than the discussion about is your title legitimate?
Oh, I know. I hate it.
That's so sweet.
That was so sweet about the Warriors winning. It's like everyone that tried to discredit the titles with KD, and like it's just
awesome.
Yeah, I think even he might have somebody called it like a Mickey Mouse. Might have even been Plaschke, the Mickey Mouse World Series ring.
Mickey Mouse.
Because everybody, people have been using
Calvin Kiernan, my wife's uncle, is a season ticket holder. He was at the game. Every single time we visit San Diego, we go on the Giants-Padres schedule to watch the games. Oh, that's great.
Oh, I got that one call at San Diego. We'll have to sometime play that another time. My call of the home run at San Diego, that was fun.
Do we have it? Well, why don't we go out with that? Do we have that in the system here?
Oh,
is that here in our banners?
You played it once.
Not in the banner.
Don't we have it in here? I thought we had it in here.
Let me see.
We've got Danny in the bleachers.
We've got Danny in the bleachers. Let's just do Danny in the bleachers.
I might have that. Other one here. Hold on. What was the date on that? That was in.
That was a sweet one too because you were sitting on the third base side and we got like a good angle.
It was in August. I think I can.
You can see the scoreboard and the whole deal. I'll tell you that one thing that the Padres do that I think is really cool, and I would love to see the Giants do it. I love what they do with the lights in the stadium when somebody hits a home run.
Yeah, totally.
Now that is cool. Where that's kind of off and on, off and on, off and on. That kind of like strobe light look. I think that's cool. I'd love to see the Giants copy that.
Oh, I don't think I remember I was in.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to probably find that for next time.
Yeah,
definitely somewhere on my computer.
Oh, I think I may have found it.
I doubt I labeled it correctly.
That was the Saturday game. Let me see.
I remember you doing the show, and didn't you use like the top of the ice cream as the spoon that night? Remember we were giving you crap about you were spooning your ice cream because you didn't have a spoon in the hotel room, and you were using the top. Remember you were.
Let's see.
Is that you?
Yeah, I'm doing some play here. I'm trying to find that one that we actually. That was Petco Park. Was it the 6th inning? No, I don't think it was. That wasn't it. It was
Dan Bleachers, Dan with Fan, Danny Gray, Larry Krueger, Dan with Foul Ball,
Kyle McKiernan.
Who hit that? I don't think VR hit a home run. Who hit the home run? Oh, it was Flores. That's right.
By the way, did you guys see who got cut today by the Giants?
No.
Who?
Released. Your mean Mercedes.
Oh, I saw that. Yeah.
That's not the one to release.
Your mean, who played left field that one time at Dodger Stadium. Remember that?
Oh, I found it.
It was Flores, right?
I found it.
I think I found
it. But it was VR.
No, it was Flores.
Dan Cochimilio here reporting live for the Krug Show at Petco Park in San Diego. The Giants and Padres are all knotted up at 1 in the top of the 8th. Jock Peterson first and Wilmer Flores the batter. The 0-2 pitch. Flores takes.
Oh, I forgot. Yeah, this is one you got to skip in a little.
Yeah.
I know exactly what that is. Okay, Garcia gets set. He looks in. The 1-2 pitch to Flores. There's a drive, deep left field. That thing's got a chance. It's at the wall. Gone! A 2-run homer, Wilmer Flores, and the Giants lead it 3-1.
Oh man, that was with people around me. That was fun. Look at Crawford. These people are starting to leave now.
Just what the Giants needed.
That was fun. I love it.
Yeah, never met a man I've been scared of. Careful, you gon' get exactly what you asked for. Careful, whatever you bring me, getting handled. I answer to no one, I don't need to hassle. Yeah.